How's it going, everybody? Welcome to Dead Air, a DayZ Talk Show. I am, your host. I am, of course, your host, Wesley DrumsetJunky Hollingsworth, and of course, I am joined by Jamie from DayZintel.com and CoimmanderPixel, who is a streamer and YouTuber, of course. How's it going, guys?
Hello.
Hello.
All right, so we're gonna do some quick introductions. For those of you, maybe this is your first time ever watching the show. This is Dead Air. We talk about DayZ, whether it's the mod, whether it's standalone, whether it's anything that's kind of DayZ related. That's what we're here to talk about. And there is a lot of news this week coming out from DayZ, specifically with DayZ Standalone. So we have a lot of ground to cover. So I'm just going to quickly introduce our other host members. Of course, we are joined by Jamie from DayZintel. Do a quick introduction of who you are and what you do, good sir.
Yeah, name's Jamie. I run DayZintel.com. We're a kind of all-round DayZ news site. We just cover all the kind of DayZ standalone, DayZ mod stuff. If you've watched any of the past shows, then you've already seen my introduction. So let's just leave it there.
All right, and of course we our guest host for this week is CoimmanderPixels, who joins us not with a webcam, but with a lovely still image of your character flipping us off in the world of standalone. How are you, sir? Do us a quick introduction, please.
I'm fine. Basically, I make YouTube videos. Yeah. No, I make guides. I cover updates, news for DayZ Standalone, and I'm fairly persistent in that area. So that's pretty much it. Now I'm number one. Jamie's number two. So yeah, simple. Only messing. Only messing. Yeah, I make YouTube videos.
Yeah, if you've ever watched my Twitch TV channel, we've gamed before with Jamie and with CoimmanderPixels. So for those of you who are maybe a regular, you're kind of used to CoimmanderPixel's lovely sense of humor, as he likes to take the piss out of everybody who talks with him on a continuing basis. So that's good fun. Let's just hop right into the show notes, and let's hop into news. EGXRezzed is a games convention that's taking place in the UK this weekend, and Rocket was there, as well as a lot of the DayZ dev team. He did multiple interviews, as well as a developer, I guess kind of like a Q&A from Rezzed, and he basically laid out a roadmap of the development for DayZ Standalone over the next couple, at least the next year and even further into the future. So a lot of really exciting information coming from Rezzed. Just real quick before we kind of jump into some of the more specifics that he talked about in Rezzed, let me ask what do you guys think? What were your first initial kind of Rocket's going to be at Rezzed and he's doing a bunch of interviews and kind of stuff. Like, what was your first initial thoughts, or maybe what was your kind of what did you have the most reaction to? I'll start with Jamie, and then we'll go on to Commander.
Cool. Yeah, I was kind of expecting Rocket to be at Rezzed. He was there last year. I think he's good buddies with the guys that run it or something. So I was kind of surprised the fact that he was involved in all 3 days, like Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. He had a slot on like all of the panels and an interview. So that was pretty cool. It's been nice just kind of seeing Rocket on stage again after the game's now been released.
Right. What were your initial thoughts, Pixel?
It was good to see him like laying out a plan, to see that he actually had a plan, because before this we hadn't even seen anything confirmed like animal-wise or helicopter-wise or anything like that. So it's cool to see that he has a plan now. As we know, Dean isn't really the best with dates, but hey, let's hope that he does follow his quarter scheme that he's doing. But I really do think it was good, because he set out a baseline for what he wants to do. Now I think he should scrap it all and just work on the netcode for a bit, but apart from that, no. I'm really looking forward to his quarter plan, and I'm happy with the progress that he thinks he's going to make.
Cool.
Cool.
So let's just hop into some of the things that he did talk about, and really, I think off the bat, we should probably talk about highlights for the next update. We haven't really seen a very detailed, as far as I know, I haven't seen a very detailed of a patch list or anything like that for the next patch. But they did go through at Rezzed and give us some kind of tidbits of highlights of what's coming in the next patch. Starting off with a what they are calling a more robust process for testing delivery. I really don't know what that means.
I can tell you what it means.
From standpoint of a player, I don't know what that means. Jamie or CommanderPixels, you take a shot at
that. As a web developer, like testing, like the whole testing process, I kind of have a better understanding of it, I guess, but because it's so similar to software development. But I think what they're getting at here is that, like, when they're making last-minute changes, they're not just going to push them into experimental without doing some internal testing first, rather than just releasing it to experimental and letting us test it. Because some of the stuff that made it into like that massive experimental patch that's been going on for the last like 4 weeks,
right?
Just completely broke the game and just ruined the experience. And then everyone was panicking, like having to jump in, trying to find. First, they have to find what causes the problem, and then they have to fix it, and then they have to make sure that those fixes don't affect other things. Because the whole thing in software development is that you fix one bug, and that fix causes 10 more bugs. So they're going to be doing a lot more internal tests before things reach experimental, I think.
Cool. Thoughts on that, CommanderPixel?
What he said. I'm in your boat, Wesley. I just winged it when I made the video about this, you know. So more robust process for testing and delivery. So you guys know what that means. Bow and arrow crossbow.
But going on.
I really didn't really understand it.
The next update, bow and arrow and the crossbow are potentially going to be in the next update. He did put that in there for the next update. Thoughts on that? I know we previously talked about bows and arrows on the show, but I'd like to hear now that we've had some more time with the idea of it. We've seen probably a couple more videos from bows and arrows out there, and also hearing some of the other tidbits coming out of Rezzed. What are your guys' thoughts with bows and arrows? I'll start with you, CommanderPixel.
Well, I know it ties in a bit with the physics, because like everything they've mentioned about bows and arrows and crossbows, they've been mentioning physics, and I'm sure you guys have heard that. And I just hope that it's not as bad as it was in the mod. I hope the crossbow is like, you know, one shot kill to the chest, because you know not too many people can stomach an arrow, puns, and you know it's just hopefully it is good, because like going around with a crossbow with a big ass like red dot on it or something, I think like that'd definitely be a 1-up for me. And also yeah, that's pretty much it.
Well, Jamie, what are your thoughts, man?
Do you guys watch Walking Dead?
Of course.
Daryl's crossbow in Walking Dead is just so fucking badass that we need
just about to go on to that.
we need to have that in DayZ.
Yeah. I think I've discussed it previously, but the idea of having somebody on, you know, in a squad that has a bow or a crossbow that can silently take down zombies without you having to move position. You know, if you're in a squad and you're overwatching Electro or something like that, and you've got a guy that can kind of be on zombie patrol with his crossbow or his bow and take down zombies without any of his of your squad mates having to move and get out of position and stuff. That's pretty big. I think that's going to be really cool. Like literally, Rocket called bows and arrows and crossbows quote a labor of love from the team. So
Sure.
I'm pretty excited about it. I know that they've been probably working on it for a long time. Players will be able to track their arrows and reclaim them. I don't know what kind of, like, if there's a percentage chance that it'll break, or like if after so many uses, like it degrades in quality. That would make sense to me.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about that?
I wouldn't like to see arrows breaking on a regular basis, because I think Unless that is, of course, when they introduce them, they introduce a method of crafting them. So if there's no way to craft them, then the percentage of them breaking, I think, should be pretty low. But I think degradation of just their states, but still being able to fire them would be acceptable. I think that would be good.
Man.
Yeah, I get your point, Wesley, on retrievable ammo. I think that's almost very important, and I think they should have different types of ammunition. So tying into the crafting scene, like you'd be able to like use different tips. You would maybe even no tips. If you had no tips, now it'd be significantly less damage to no penetration. But you'd be able to maybe get lightweight aluminium, military grade bolts and arrows that you can use, as well as sticks. That I'm assuming there's going to be some way of chopping down trees and retrieving wood. Because no, what they're saying is, they want to have a lot of crafting, and I'm assuming wood is going to be made available, just like it was in the mod, and you'll be able to craft it into sticks, and put some fletching on it and an arrow tip, and same for the bolt, and maybe make custom bolts, explosive bolts or something cool like that. I can see it happening.
Yeah,
it'd be really cool.
Did you ever play the Arma 2 mod Aftermath, DayZ Aftermath?
No, I haven't.
Well, in Aftermath, you could craft your own bolts for your crossbow, and one of the things that you could make was an exploding bolt, an explosive bolt, and it was badass to use. Like
yeah, it was sweet.
Like, sorry, look at the chat.
You went from like the chat's making fun of you for saying penetration.
Penetration tip wood. Jesus Christ.
But that it would be cool to be able to take like a crossbow that scales, because a crossbow that like only has like a basic wood bolt that you crafted from sticks or from lumber or something, that might be great for zombies, but it's not really going to do a lot of damage to a player. But you could get an aluminum or aluminium or however the fuck you guys say it over the pond.
Yeah, that's aluminium, mate.
That would do significantly more damage to a player, whereas then it would even scale even farther if you could craft some type of explosive bolt. Then you could even use it to take down vehicles, which again is much later on in the development of the game. But having that scalability for a crossbow or something is something I'm pretty interested in. I'm pretty excited about that. Now, as a kind of like a footnote, during the Rezzed, I guess the developer interview or whatever, or presentation, I should say, he also said that he really wants, and the team is wanting to take some inspiration from Skyrim, the Elder Scrolls game, Skyrim, as far as hunting and skinning animals, going alongside with the bows and arrows. So, but I'm pretty interested in that. Being able to go and go to into the woods and hunt an animal down and skin it, and possibly use its pelt or something like that to make a bag or something. That'd be pretty neat.
A hat.
A hat. Yes, I'm making a bunny, a rabbit skin hat.
Yeah, that's something I want to see.
Moving on, the other thing that they are going to be implementing here pretty soon in the next update, of course, is going to be fireplaces. Pretty excited about this because that means we can finally fucking cook food in DayZ. Thoughts, guys?
Well, I'd just like to say that there's no mention there of them actually saying that you're going to be able to cook food. Like, I can totally see them introducing fireplaces, but no cooking mechanics.
He actually said
you can upgrade it into an oven. So
yeah, I've seen that. But was there any mention of actually being able to put food in the oven? Or
yeah. Well,
was there? Yeah.
Yeah, he said literally almost. I almost stole his quote. You can finally cook food in DayZ. That's
okay.
Literally almost jacked his quote. Exactly.
All right, that's good
from the presentation. So,
sweet.
And you can actually see that on that little. There's an imager that has a lot of the information out there, And if you go there, the second slide is that he's talking about fireplaces and the ovens and things like that. So you can actually go see that slide on that imager. I'll post it in chat here for you guys if you'd like to go look through that as well. I'll be showing it here on screen. But you know, he does show it there. You can cook things. You can craft fireplaces. Fireplaces where you can craft at, and you can upgrade them to ovens. What are your thoughts on this, Commander?
Well, this is going to be a counter. I'm assuming when you get wet in DayZ, you're going to get sick. And as if there's no way to immediately dry yourself, so I'm assuming when they implement this, they're going to implement sickness from being wet and soaked. Right. So it's pretty much it. And maybe even coldness, possibly, like there was in the mod. If you're in water for too long, you get cold as well. And maybe introducing heat packs as well, medical heat packs.
Yeah.
Cooking as well. Maybe you can find a wire gauze or something. Maybe like the normal fireplace could only hold one pot, where the oven could hold 3 pots containing maybe 5 pieces of food each. You know.
Yeah.
But that's really it.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I mean, I didn't even think about that, but an oven being able to cook more food at a time would be really great for squads or for clan members that are gaming together. And of course I think the oven is kind of going to be like the stepping stone for and this is much later on, and I think that he talks about this in the presentation, but I think the oven's going to be a stepping point for crafting houses and things like that. So a lot of scalability with that as well. Any last thoughts as far as fireplaces?
Not really.
Nah,
like we're gonna have cooking later on. Like there's a good few cooking slides, so that's pretty much it. Yeah.
The other thing he talks about in the next update is network optimizations, and I'm pretty excited about network optimization because that we're not gonna have as much rubber banding issues. We're not gonna have as much desync. Hopefully it'll fix some issues with I can always tell when I'm around other players. I don't know if you guys can, but like my FPS drops by 10. Like I always know when I've walked into another network, another player's network bubble, because my FPS drops by 10. And that's a bummer. Like I don't want to know at all. I always know whenever I'm like a mile out from Electro, because you know my FPS slowly starts to take a dump. So did you guys happen to catch like what he specifically meant as far as network optimizations?
Well, hopefully he's gonna fix the rubber banding. I assume because when he implemented 0.42, I know there was the 0.43 hotfix, but you guys know just as much as I do. Like it didn't really do too much. Like there was still a problem getting on some servers. There's rubber banding, serious desync, and like this is like half desync. Like I'd freeze, someone else would shoot me, and then as soon as the desync's over, I'm dead.
Right.
So like hopefully that does come very soon enough, which I think that's cool. Like it's highlights for the next update, so that's good.
Jamie?
I think everyone knows network performance DayZ sucks right now, so any fixes, man, that are on their way, I'm happy for.
That goes on to the next thing. No spawning penalties for joining the same server. I think everybody can agree that had to have happened. Like being like, if you ever get kicked from a server and you have to wait like, freaking 5 minutes to get back into the same server.
Yeah,
that's brutal if you're in a firefight and you just so happen to get kicked and your squad mates are in the middle of a firefight and you can't help. That's very frustrating. So I'm excited for that.
One thing I would say about the spawn penalties is that one of the major reasons they were introduced in the first place was to stop players ghosting.
Right.
Like to stop you logging out and then swapping servers. But yeah, that it has definitely worked. Because I've not seen it since the the big patch.
Don't get me wrong. Now I've been ghost seriously on the same server now. I've noticed like the 600 seconds go by. Like I was in top floor of a prison and they moved themselves like 4 guys underneath the stairs, and I was not expecting it at all. They all came out from under the stairs and looked through the gap and just absolutely plastered me against the wall. But yeah, that was fairly annoying. Oh yeah, and clipping, looking through walls, like that needs to be addressed ASAP. I don't know how they're gonna do it, but like
the ability to like lean over to the side and you can see
Yeah,
outside
yeah.
the wall. Yeah.
Yeah.
I use that on my stream all the time. I'm guiltless in using that because I know that
Dirty clipper.
other people use it.
if other people are going to use it, then I should be able to use it too. But
I remember I done it once, and like everyone does it every now and again. I done it once. 2 guys were doing it, looking dead at me, and I waved at them. And then I looked back, and they both waved back, and they came in. We were all friendly, and then both of them logged out, and I was in there on my own, the prison, and that's when the ghosting happened. It was awesome though.
So yeah, that'll be good. No spawn penalties for joining the same server. That'll be good. You know, I don't have a problem with it because again, that only if you're going back to the same server, it's not that big of a deal. It's just joining back in from kind of where you left off. So no problems. I have no problems with that. And he basically he gave us kind of a sneak peek of best case scenario when that new patch is going to be coming out, and worst case. So best case scenario, we're looking at the new patch, which will have the bow and arrow crossbow. That'll have better testing scenarios for us. It'll have fireplaces, some network optimization, and no spawning penalties. That's best case is going to be in 2 weeks, and then worst case.
That places that at the 8th.
Yeah. Worst case scenario it'll be at the end of April. So, any thoughts on that? I don't really think that requires any kind of major commentary.
Not really, no.
Okay.
Let's hope it's 2 weeks.
Let's hope it's 2 weeks. One of the things he did talk about was I think this was in his second quarter portion of the presentation. So things that he wants to happen within the next couple of months, basically, was respawning loot. They haven't quite. I could tell by the way he presented it. They have not figured out how they're going to do this, like on a mass scale. I think the idea that they have is that they're just kind of he's like, this is what we're throwing around in the team right now.
Yeah,
Jamie,
I got that impression too.
Yeah, could you explain it to the group or to our audience? What, as far as the respawning loot, what are they working with on that?
Okay, so I like how you're assuming that I know these things, but I think the plan is that what he said was they're going to split up the map into quadrants. So you could probably assume that the quadrants are going to be. You could maybe say split the map into 12 sections, and then that way they don't have to respawn loot on the whole map like constantly, like say every hour respawn everything. They can have a little bit of code that runs through the quadrants and sees if any of the quadrants are empty, and then if the quadrants are empty, they initiate a respawn and nobody notices because there's no one there to see it, basically.
Okay. Yeah. So basically, the way he kind of, from the general consensus that I got, and correct me guys if I'm wrong, was that they're gonna, like you said, they're gonna kind of split the map into different parts, and if a certain area gets looted out and it's basically empty for a certain amount of time, then the loot will respawn. Is that what you got? Is that what you got as well, CommanderPixel?
Yeah, pretty much. I don't know, some of the stuff they were talking about pretty scared me. Like, they're talking about like only a certain amount of loot and guns on one server, and like when they're talking about the helicopter stuff, like the parts you'll need for it maybe on another server, and you might have to take them off another team, and if that oh Jesus, no. Like honestly, it's very confusing. Like I can, as you said, I can see that they haven't really sussed it out and what they want to do.
Right.
But I don't know. I hope like I know by the way they were just talking about it, like they were winging it. Like it's definitely a concept. I like the way there's a set amount of loot on the map. Like, but I don't know. Like if that does happen, like and servers don't restart properly or something, you're gonna come on servers with no loot and people that are absolutely geared.
Right. I mean,
So
like
yeah.
I'm okay with like a set number of like if we're like I'm okay with like there's only gonna be a set number of M4s on the map or on the hive total.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. It because I think that stuff, the people who have that kind of loot die. I mean, people die. I mean, if you got that kind of a gun, what are you gonna go do with it? You're gonna go try to shoot someone in the face, which means that you have to. There's some risk there.
But at the moment, they won't be recirculating because of all the rubber banding and glitches that there are. No, honestly, as it is, like they couldn't even dream of doing something like that. Like the amount of times I've died fully geared, and my loot's fallen onto a runway, like it's just like at the moment they shouldn't even wink at that. Like that's a no go completely. But I see what you mean. Like most guns, about 70%, I'd say something like that, would be looted,
Right.
and or seen by players and viewed by players.
Right.
The other 30% zombie deaths, AFK, BS deaths, pretty much.
Right. And I'm like, my hope is that as far as the rubber banding issues and I think desync issues that we've seen with that have come up and 0.42, hopefully those get fixed in the next patch. Now, granted, they won't all be fixed. I'm not saying that I think it's all going to be fixed, but my hope is that the major upturn that we've seen in rubber banding and desync will for the most part be killed out in the next patch. That's my hope, which means that you know, a month, 2 months down the road, when they're looking at respawning loot or a respawning loot, you know, system, then you know it means that that's doable at that point. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Any thoughts as far as anything else as far as respawning loot?
Not really. Maybe I have to say I like the way that you don't have to like come onto an area for the loot to spawn. Like the way it's just there with like if you come within a certain radius of it. Like I
Yeah.
think it's like 500 meters. Like it's not something crazy. Like you'll never come across a building with no loot. Like the only scenario that comes along is if it's actually been looted.
Right.
So I like that.
Yeah. I like that as well. It always bothered me in the mod how like loot was basically based upon zombies. You know, like loot spawned in with about the same time as zombies did in the mod, and so like, you know, if you came into a town too quickly or for the server was bugged out
Yeah.
and zombies didn't spawn, then neither did loot. So it just, I hated that. You know, if you drove into with any vehicle into any place in the mod, it took forever for loot to spawn, and I really hated that. So I'm glad that that is not not a prevalent system. Now we could talk a little bit about the 64-bit compiling. That is something that the new team that they have brought in is working on. So like that's something that they're working on. I know that's something that we don't really know a lot about, but I think that's something that we can talk about a little bit because, and what I mean by is in regards of the new team that they brought in, and this is something that they mentioned here and there throughout the presentation. And let's talk about the new team being brought in. They're working on the 64-bit you know, compiling. They're working on pathing for animals. They're working on a great other things that we're going to be talking about today. But let's talk about the new team. They just kind of snuck that in. There was no like release from Bohemia until after Rezzed, or basically after Rezzed, that said that they were buying a new studio with like 40 new devs. Thoughts on that, guys?
Yeah, I thought the sheer fact. I think Rocket said that they have 25. Currently got 25 people in the new team, with like plans on expanding it. So and you're right. They did kind of just sneak that in, but I guess the game sold over 1.5 million copies in the first few months, so they have a lot of money to work with, and they don't want to fuck about in getting the new stuff into it. So, 25 a 25 larger team is going to help a lot, I think, especially, and they seem to be working on the pathfinding stuff, which everyone knows needs a lot of work.
Right. Didn't they say that it scales up to like 40 or 50 members?
I think so, yeah.
Okay,
On an interview with VG247 by Twitch, he mentioned that there's up to 100 total. Now some of them, one is a 20-man team that is in another country, to where they actually work, and that's all the map devs. And at the moment it's 100, and he was actually saying that, like, you know, more people will actually hinder the project, and that the entire project, like when it went big, started off with 4 people. And this is on the Twitch interview. Right.
So that's always cool.
It's a big team.
Yeah, it's a big team, and I think it's probably the extent of the growth that we're going to see. I can't even imagine the kind of logistics that Rocket's now going to have to deal with handling two different dev teams in 2 different countries. Like, that's got to be fucking insane.
Well, it's been going for a while now, hasn't it? It's been going on for quite a while now, and the map's been updated fairly fast. So.
Well, I'm talking about like just with the addition of the new team.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, plus the new team. Oh,
plus the new team. So I can't even imagine what that's going to be like as far as logistics go.
Man, he's going to need another trip to Everest. That's too much. Way too much.
So that's pretty cool. I know that Eurogamer they actually and I'll post the link in chat, because I know that I literally just found this article, so I'll put it in chat if you guys want to give it a quick perusal. But Eurogamer did get a statement from Bohemia that was updated basically day before yesterday. And the statement that they put out was, in 2013, Bohemia Interactive opened a new studio in Bratislava, Slovakia, as part of the Czech company's portfolio in next-generation game development studios. It said the new studio is composed by former recruits from the successful Slovak studio Cauldron, and has acquired selected Cauldron facilities and technology. So, Bohemia didn't actually... I think this was something that was going around. Bohemia didn't actually buy the studio out. They just bought some of their developers, and they bought some of their facilities, and of course some of their technologies that kind of come along with those facilities. So pretty cool there. That means a big old host of new people to be working on the game. I'm excited for this. I can't think of anything bad, for the exception of the added logistics of just leading 2 different studios in 2 different countries. But besides that, I think that's pretty exciting. Any additional thoughts on this?
No. That's pretty much it.
I think it's also pretty neat that it kind of gives us a little bit of a roadmap on probably what's going to happen after Dean leaves. After Rocket leaves Bohemia, I think that studio in Slovakia may be kind of that whole team is going to be kind of taking over the reins as far as DayZ. So we'll see how that kind of develops. That's just kind of a minor prediction, but some other things he did talk about in the presentation at Rezzed was accelerated time. I think a lot of people, especially those that run servers, are really excited about accelerated time. I would love to have be able to hop onto a server and go through a day-night cycle, like let's say a complete day-night cycle, 24-hour cycle within like an hour or 2. So, what are your guys' thoughts on that?
I think one of the weird things about the mod was that people didn't like to play it at night. and I guess it was just because of the way it was done. But standalone seems to be they've implemented nighttime a lot better, and it kind of feels nice. It just feels right, just running around Cherno at nighttime now.
Right.
The only thing is that nighttime lasts for 8, 10, 12 hours, so people don't want to they don't want to do it all the time. They just want, like you said, maybe half an hour, 1 hour, a couple of hours of nighttime play, and then see a sunrise and start all over again in the daytime. So accelerated time is going to be a big thing, I think.
Commander, what are your thoughts as far as accelerate time playing during nighttime? What are your thoughts?
I don't know. Basically, like, as nighttime gameplay goes, I wish they make it so like everyone ups the gamma and the brightness whenever
Right.
it's nighttime and you're getting
Yeah.
serious. Okay, so instead of forcing people to do that, because when you know people are going to do it, the majority, maybe make the moonlight a bit brighter. If you get me, and make it cater towards people that may not have the head torch or like. I never actually use any light source when I'm playing. I just up the gamma. So maybe make the moonlight actually work, and at nighttime have a few more light sources in like the cities and stuff, like the street lamps and maybe a couple of windows lit or something. You know, something just to light up the towns, like, you know, so you can see them glow in the distance if you're lost as well.
Right.
Because usually, you know, your distance is hindered a lot in nighttime because it's foggy. But if you'd be able to see the light glowing from a town, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. I agree. He did say that as far as the changing how the engine renders night, it's not going to be drastically different anytime soon. He did mention that because Arma 2 and the Arma 2 Take on Helicopters engine, which Standalone's basically built on, is a DX9 system that really it kind of limits what they can do as far as rendering night. He did do a quick like tidbit that they are trying to. It kind of sounded like they may be trying to go up to DX11 in some way. Did you guys catch that?
Yeah, I think he mentioned if they get the chance, maybe it probably what it is if they get the time to move some of the DX11 stuff over into the engine, then they're going to improve the way light works, I think, on nighttime.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't think nighttime's gonna probably be a drastic difference, but I really agree with you, Commander, that night is a pain. I actually kind of have a standing policy. I don't stream gameplay on nighttime servers because
It's not fun to watch.
It's not fun to watch, and
Not fun to play.
it's not. I mean, it is. I have had fun on nighttime servers, but that's just for me, and it doesn't. It's not an enjoyable viewer experience, because it's just so difficult to see what the hell's going on. So we'll see. Maybe they'll just force the night to be like full moon nights no matter what, and that'll be an easy fix. So we'll see. I know that one of the things that they're also working on is player controls, mouse acceleration that doesn't even work in the game right now. It's just kind of a troll option, and some more physics-based movements. Did either one of you guys have some strong thoughts on that particular portion of the Res presentation?
Something I thought pretty funny was the fact that he said that the mouse acceleration thing was just a complete troll, because I've seen threads popping up in various places where people were talking about the benefits of checking that box. So
And they must feel so stupid.
you know, yeah. So I don't know why they've done that, but let's hope that they do add the fixes for the mouse acceleration shit pretty soon.
For player-based movement, basically, I'm assuming this is a ragdoll and all that when you die or something. And I probably mentioned this to you before, Wesley, but like the satisfaction of, like, let's say a kid running on the runway and you just clip him in the head while he's running, the way he'll just sort of trip forward and like slide forward for a bit, that is gonna be just that's gonna be awesome. That will be. Now, of course, there's gonna be a lot of funny glitches. You know, soon like you fall on a rock, you get slingshotted up into the air and stuff, and dancing bodies on the ground. You know, after about a month or two, that should be fixed. So yeah.
Cool. And we can move on. We'll talk about let's go into that ragdoll physics. He showed us some things about ragdoll. He basically said that ragdoll physics, as far as players and I believe as far as zombies go, is functionally complete. That is a big keyword.
Yeah.
Whenever a dev says nearly functionally complete, that means that we have it working, but it's broken as shit. Basically, that's code word from a developer. But he did say that. He did say that it was nearly functionally complete. And I could be wrong on that. I'm no developer, but that's what that tells me.
You're totally right. I've used that term before. I think it's the nice little screenshot he showed of the skeleton. Like it shows us kind of that the basics are there, and that yes, they might have it working in some sort of test environment, like very limited, but obviously it's not been tested to the point where like there's so much that affects there would just have to be so much testing involved in order to get it anywhere near experimental, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Because like you said, like being slingshotted about the place, like just like jumping out of a rock and just getting slingshotted into the sky, or just stupid stuff like that, I can totally see that happening if they don't put it through a rigorous testing process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you thinking, Commander?
Just continuing off what I said, like I know, like there's definitely going to be a lot of bugs with this. Hopefully, no game changers, just like funny ones that are cool, but like, well, not but cool, but you know, just like they don't actually hamper in game, like playing or combat or something.
Right.
But like, I'm assuming the physics is just going to work off like once the entity is dead, it's just going to go with the flow of gravity.
Right.
So I'm wondering how this is going to work with cars and if you get run over. Like in Arma 2, you just basically drop to the ground and then you slid wherever you slid. But
Right.
cars, that's just going to be so funny. Like the sound as well, like the sound effects that they might have to get in. They're going to have to like bang every side and corner of like a Jeep or something. So as soon as you run something all over, you're just going to hear like boom, and you're going to fly over the top. So yeah.
I like it. I'm really excited about ragdolls. It wasn't something that I was super concerned with, but the more like whenever he kind of first mentioned it before standalone even came out, I was just kind of like, oh, okay, yeah, that'll be nice, but I don't really care. But the more I see of the physics that they're trying to implement, the more excited about it I get. So here's to hoping that it works. One of the things is that he did mention was that when you fall, there's going to be a falling animation of some kind. You're like the way it is now. Like if you were to step off when you step off a building, you just kind of stay still, and your character just falls completely down, straight legs, like I'm a boss and I'm not worried about falling. So having some kind of animation of oh shit, I'm actually falling off the firehouse will be pretty cool.
And probably even dropping your weapon, maybe. If you're in free fall mode, like you might let go of your weapon, you may have to pick it up again. Or if you get shot or suppressed, your guy might accidentally drop his weapon.
Yeah.
Possibly. Now, I know this doesn't have anything to do with Ragdoll, but just thinking on that.
No, absolutely.
That'd be pretty cool. I think they should add more in for suppression because like cracks going over your head, like Battlefield 4, like you go all inaccurate, your screen blurs up a bit, and it's pretty much it. And then maybe a fix for that, so maybe you can take, I don't know, like an adrenaline shot or something. I don't know if they're going to plan to add on like that, but something like that, you know? Maybe drink a can of Red Bull, unsuppressed. Be grand.
That'd be kind of cool. Yeah. I wouldn't necessarily have a problem with that. It could be, kind of, that's another place where it could get really buggy, because, like, what if you get stuck in that? What if you get in some kind of a firefight and you get stuck in the, like, blurry screen, that could be, that could be pretty messed up, but yeah, some great ideas there, for sure. He also says that in the future, they're going to try to add in, as far as the ragdoll goes, being able to drag unconscious bodies, and bodies from dead people, and something that he called blended body injuries, and I'm not sure what he meant for that. Any ideas from you guys?
I'm not too sure.
I have no idea what that means.
No, I've seen a lot of stuff like no, it hasn't been implemented, but like if you're not wearing shoes, you're gonna be dragging your feet along. You're gonna be slow. If you get shot in the arm, there's no chance of you shooting accurately, like the Ace mod, if you get me. Like
Yeah.
that's pretty much it. I don't know if that has anything to do with blended body injuries. I don't really get that.
Right.
But if they have a working, like if you have a fractured arm, which I think you can get a fractured arm, can't you?
Yeah, currently,
Uh,
yeah.
like it's impossible to hold a weapon. You're just done weapon wise, and morphine fixes it. But I think they should have stuff like that. Like you get shot in the head, you don't work.
Right.
Simple.
Absolutely. And I think one of the things that I think one of the things I'm most excited for, because I think this is going to fix some of the biggest bugs in DayZ, is new AI pathing. Animals and zombies, being able to forever tell a zombie that you can't walk through fucking walls or you can't walk through doors, I am really excited about. He talked about some of the techniques that they're going to use as far as getting that AI pathfinding and path walking and things like that better. I'm not sure exactly what all of it all means, but thoughts on new AI pathfinding?
Fix it.
Fix it.
Oh, but yeah, no, they really need to cop on big time. Like the way zombies come through walls and they're like almost like unkillable, like inside a building. Because I've had this recently. I've only noticed it recently. If I try and swing my axe at a zombie in the bottom floor of a fire station, the hit hits the roof, and if he's in the floor and I look down, the hit I don't know, just doesn't register at all. So I have to bring him outside and then kill him, then go back
Right.
into the prison. So it's a bit ishy. Plus, they should buff some of the weapons. Like the sickle should definitely be a one-shot kill if you hit a zombie with it. That's just my point of view, but
No,
the sickle, they
I
need to
think,
buff that sickle.
yeah, I think there's a lot of weapons that are extremely underpowered right now. I completely agree. I had this is a bit of a tangent, but I had a good experience with the pitchfork. Pitchfork's pretty good.
Really?
Yeah, pitchfork's pretty
That's
good.
like two-shot kill, isn't it?
It's like a two-shot kill, yeah.
Uh,
So that's
I've
pretty
not
cool.
actually came across the pitchfork yet. Do you swing it over your head or do you stab folk with it?
you like batter them with it,
It's
like
kind of
bang.
like a
Like-
forward stab with an upward motion. It's kind of awkward.
Okay.
It's kind of like a forward stab and then you kind of go up.
If they would
Like a
make
shovel,
unique
like that.
animations for each one, that'd be awesome. Like,
Yeah.
let's say the animation, like for up and close and like a confirmed hit on a zombie, like you stick it into them, and like the zombie like sort of grabs their chest where it like hits it, and then like you sort of like jolt it forward to get them off. And like let's say with the sickle, you could like if you have a confirmed hit to the head, it'll register it and have an animation where you just like stick it in the back of the head and then just pull out and then it just falls, like stuff like that. Like not like it stops you from doing anything. Like you can still run around when you're doing all this, but
Right.
it look pretty cool if they do that.
And he actually talked about that briefly. He talked about any kind of cutscenes or any kind of thing that takes actions away from the player is something he doesn't want to do. Although,
I know, yeah.
because like that, you don't want to it would be cool to have some kind of a bullet cam where if you get a confirmed headshot on somebody or a zombie, it does some kind of a cool animation or kind of a small cutscene. But what happens while your screen is showing that bullet cam? Where are you at? What's going on with you? And so, I think that's something he's...
Oh no, I'm not talking about something as crazy as that. Just like, let's say for the sickle, like, you're moving towards the zombie. Now, this is very quick. Like, this will take just as much time as if you're to do a normal hit.
Right.
Like, you'll still be in the walking pace as you are when you hit a melee weapon. You'll still be able to move freely, but it'll just be very quick motion, like in, out, and like the zombie has a custom death effect almost.
I got
It's
you.
not even an animation. You have a custom swing effect for the confirmed headshot, and he has the adjacent fall effect.
Right. That's cool. Yeah, that would be really neat. Any other thoughts as far as AI pathfinding? Jamie?
Like Jack said, man, they just need to fix it.
Yeah. It's one of the things that he did say, and it's one of the things that it's listed on that slide that he had at the thing, is it does handle interiors and small objects. So pretty excited about that. And kind of rounding that out about the pathfinding is that the first iteration of this new mechanic in the game is nearly complete. So maybe we'll be seeing it on experimental server maybe here in the next couple of months, maybe the next 1 or 2 patches for experimental. We'll see. I'm extremely excited about this. This is probably the fix that in my opinion will catapult DayZ from being a game that can be sometimes extremely frustrating to a game that suddenly is a lot more immersive. So
Oh, and sorry, do you think they should go back to walking in buildings or still running? Because I don't mind running as long as they run through the doors. Because like if
Yep.
you go into the new police station, I don't mind them running inside, but like they're everywhere there. Like you get swarmed from all angles of the walls. Like it's terrible. Like I
Yeah.
don't mind them running.
yeah,
But the way they're in and out of doors, they fall underneath the floor and stuff. Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah,
It's terrible.
I don't have a problem at all with zombies running indoors as long as they are not walking through walls and they're walking through door frames. That's the only problem.
And invisible zombies too.
Yeah,
That needs to be fixed. Like being on the top floor of a building and they can hit you from the bottom floor of a building.
Yeah.
That took me a good while to figure out what was happening there.
Yeah, I've only had that happen like once or twice, and that's about it.
That's too common for me.
Yeah, I haven't really had that one at all, with the exception of maybe once or twice. Talking about AI going on, they did talk. He did do a slide talking about prototype animals, basically new animal types, specifically 6 new animal types that are going to be completely from scratch. That those animals are going to wander, so players can hunt them. Again, this is what they're calling like prototype animals because it's basically completely new, so they're having to basically write AI for it and do all the rendering for the model and how it walks and moves and stuff. So, thoughts on that, guys?
I think we spoke about this before, but just the whole hunting system in general is going to really change how people play the game, and I think it'll be less and less about jumping from supermarket to supermarket, whereas people can jump from forest to forest and just kind of hunt the land as they see it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to make a massive difference, man. Really looking forward to it.
Yep.
Pretty much that. I can't add on to that.
So I think it does. I really agree with you, Jamie, that it does have a complete. It has an opportunity to basically change how players play the game, and that's exciting for me. Any kind of mechanic that changes widespread how players play the game is both scary and exciting. But as far as hunting goes, that's very exciting for me. Being able to just go off into the wilderness and just hunt and kill and take care of myself without having to go fight other players to get food or kill other players for food, that's really exciting to me. So as much as I like to shoot people in the face, not having to do that for food is always great.
Yeah.
One of the things he also talked about, kind of wrapping up the short term, or kind of like what's gonna be coming up in the next couple of months, is persistent objects. We've kind of heard like they're gonna do persistent backpacks at first, and just persistent backpacks, so you'll be able to take your backpack off and put it on the ground and basically tell it to stay there with some kind of mechanic. And that'll be kind of a storage, and then they're going to add in like tents and other things later. But one of the things that he basically said that they're toying with, and they don't know if it's gonna be being able to. They're not sure if they're gonna be able to implement it. Is basically everything being able to be persistent. So if you take off a small bag and tell it to be persistent, then it'll be persistent, or even the possibility of just a can of beans filling a can of beans. Like, I want to hide this can of beans right here. That would be a persistent object that after server restart would be there. What were your guys' thoughts on that?
I don't really think like you should be able to make persistent like cans of beans because like you're not gonna be able to like because then people just have huge stockpiles of everything they need. Like you're gonna have to find a rucksack to put your stuff in. Then you can put the rucksack on the ground. So that'll finally make the big ass rucksacks have some sort of a use. Like everyone gets the hunting backpack for the concealment.
Right.
But the big ass rucksack, that'll be used to pack stuff away, and possibly that's when they'll introduce tents as well. So, yeah.
Yeah, I never really thought of that. Just like the fact that you could just drop a can would mean that you could just really loot cycle all the big towns, return to your base, and just drop hundreds of cans, hundreds of everything just all over the floor, and not really have any central place for them. I guess that would be kind of weird, but like Rocket is going for realism, and you would be able to hide a can of beans under a bush.
From the sounds of that, man, imagine a 50-man server with those items everywhere. Like it would kill the server.
Well, and
yeah,
that's one of the things he did
That's
say is
why,
that basically he said from and I could be mistaken in this, but this is what I heard and this is what I interpreted from what he was saying during that presentation is that from here until basically they get a working model for this, they're going to basically, I guess, kind of keep some kind of list of like items that could have that players could or would have put down as a persistent object, and then try to, and I guess maybe internally test that to see if it's even possible to do that. But he did mention that that's something that they will be working with, I guess, internally to see if that's even possible. And he does say, and he does even show on this slide, he says all objects are just some. The safe state of everything, what would that be? And so I think that would be pretty neat. Having the ability to hide a gun in a house, because imagine this, guys. You have an M4 that you've been carrying around and a shotgun that you've been carrying around, a sawed-off shotgun. You know that like in Electro, whenever like there's always players in Electro, so you want to hide that shotgun like in the church, like behind one of the tombs or behind the pulpit of the church, which wouldn't be a very good hiding spot, but and then that no matter what, whether you die or whether you the server restarts and you die right off the bat or something like that, you can go back to that shotgun because it's hidden there. It kind of sets up like you could set up traps for players. You could run around with no gear and try to get someone to chase you, and then they walk into the building and you have a gun suddenly that you didn't have before, and you blow them away. There's all kinds of cool play styles I think that are possible with the persistent, with everything being persistent. Any thoughts?
Yeah, definitely. I agree. Like it's going to be cool. It's just whether or not they can pull it off.
Yeah.
Or not. I would like to see them focus on just backpacks and tents for the moment, and then possibly rolling it out to all items like soon after.
Right. Yeah, I agree. He also did say that they're going to work on something they call world containers. World containers being like refrigerators, ovens, and cupboards and stuff that are actually lootable. That's another thing that is we talked about earlier in the show. We talked about DayZ Aftermath. DayZ Aftermath is kind of like that. You can go up to a locker, or you can go up to some kind of container that's always on the map, but you can go up to it and you get a mouse scroll option to look through that and to search it. Yeah. So having a world container will help, and he also did say that it will provide a boost as far as server performance, because it takes that item isn't just sitting on a shelf somewhere waiting for someone to loot it. The item is kind of in the mystical nowhere of code, and it's not
Yeah.
a physical item that has to be rendered. So you go up to the refrigerator, search through it, and you get kind of a randomized kind of thing out of as far as gear goes, what's possible or what's in that item or within that container. So
Yeah, it'd be cool to be able to, just put a body like, someone inside of a fridge and just, just set them sail or somewhere. Like you can like leave like bodies at like the bottom of like the black, I think what's it called, Blunt Rocks Lake.
yeah,
It'd be cool just to leave guys down there, and you can like come back for them afterwards, and that's pretty much it. Also, completely off topic, they should add slings to carry a second weapon.
oh, that'd be cool.
Like that should be applicable to all weapons, slings, and for certain guns, like an M4, you need a sling mount for it. But
So you could like
man,
have a weapon
Yeah.
in your hand and then like a weapon that's on a sling.
yeah. Instead of people having the glitch for it, because everyone glitches to have a secondary gun,
Yeah.
I think a sling would be good. Like make slings rare enough, and when you find one, it's like a hottie shit moment, because that basically gives you the rights to a second gun. And like you literally, all you have to do is just like swap between them. So maybe there'll be a hot swap thing. Just set it to
Yeah.
1 and 2, and it automatically puts the sling on the other weapon. Or maybe you need a sling maybe on both weapons to make it work.
Yeah.
So you can put both weapons on your back, because you'll need to drop your gun eventually if you want to eat or something like that.
Right.
So yeah,
That would be pretty cool.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
a great idea.
I think the kind of like the assumption right now is in the game is that every gun has a sling on it, because that's how it goes onto your back and stays there. But having the ability to like pick up like basically an additional sling, so you could put another gun on your back, would be pretty awesome. It'd be pretty cool. Now this kind of moves us on to medium term, so things that are coming up in the third quarter of this next year. So we're talking, anywhere from 6 months from now, roundabout. Well, actually, not quite that far, but one of the things that they're working on is multi-threading and multiple cores for servers, and I guess probably even client side. I didn't really hear him say that too much. What did you
Yeah,
guys...
I wasn't sure whether or not he was talking about server side or client side in terms of multi-threading. But basically, multi-threading and multi-cores allow you to do more stuff at once. They allow you to better utilize the computing power that you have on your system. So if that means that people are going to get better performance, then multi-threading is a good thing.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't really know too much on the whole multi-threading for the game, so
Yeah. Yeah, basically it would better utilize, like if you have a quad core, and there are some games that don't even utilize all four cores of your computer.
Is that player side?
Yeah, player side.
Oh,
He does say, it does say on the slide, probably more server focused, and that I think he mentions that during that portion of the presentation. It's going to be probably more server focused, but that is pretty exciting. The possibility of, it's another place for optimization, that if you do have one of these beast machines, like a core i7, core 4-core i7, or an i5 or something, then you're going to be able to utilize more of those cores for the game. So which would be pretty cool for everybody as far as the game optimization. So
Yeah.
finally I'll be able to set up my i3 to just absolutely pump it out.
He does say he specifically mentioned it as far as servers. So that means that if you wanted to have a large, and this is basically in a direct quote, if you wanted to have a large clan server with 100 or 200 players on it, then you could get a server, or you could be paying for a server that has a much bigger CPU with more memory and things like that. So, and the server client will be able to make use of those multiple cores and a multi-threaded application. So
Yeah.
that means more zombies, more players, more animals, and stuff like that. So that's pretty exciting. Again, that's probably 4 to 6 months down the road that they'll be looking at that. So That's any additional thoughts on that, guys?
Not really.
Nah.
He does go back and talk about as far as further down the line, they're gonna do advanced animals, hostile animals, neutral animals, and companion animals. We previously talked about companion animals, dogs and horses. Horses are still up in the air. He made it really sound like during the presentation at Rezzed that the possibility of a horse is something that he really wants, but is really an unknown on whether it's going to be possible. So, how important to you guys is a hostile animal like a bear or a wolf?
Very important.
Yeah.
Like that changes the whole swing of the game. Like, you know, like you're in a field and suddenly like you guys see like a big ass bear or something, and you're not that kitted up. You know, you're gonna have to go for critical shits. You're gonna have to go for critical shots on it, and it would be rewarding. You know, you get the fur off it, you get the you get the meat off it, you get a lot of meat off it, and you know, that's pretty much it.
Just laughing at the fact that you said critical hot shits.
I just had a dirt moment. Yeah, but no, I think it makes it good. Like you're gonna see like packs of wolves and stuff, and if you see these, you're like, oh, holy shit! Like if those wolves get near you, they would like rip you to pieces. Like they'd bring your blood and health down very quickly. So it's very like important that you like eliminate them, and maybe if they make them, so like if you're on your own, you're not gonna come across it like a 10 wolf pack. You know, like it just. That wouldn't make sense, but maybe if you're on your own, you might only come across 2. But if you're with a big group, like depending on how many people are in the area, there's the adequate wolf packs roaming.
Well, I would be okay with as a single player, like just stumbling upon a fucking pack of wolves. Like that would mean that while I'm out in the forest, like I have to be wary about that. Like a lot of times now, it's like you're running through the forest and it's just mindless. Like you're like fuck. I've set one of my macro keys on my computer to an auto run and left the room because I knew that I was running to northeast or northwest airfield and it was gonna be 15 minutes, and I was just like, oh, I'm just gonna go do something else for the next 15 minutes. I'm gonna go take a poop and come back and suddenly I'm outside of the northwest airfield, or I'm stuck on a bush or something like that. But you get what I'm saying? Like you can't just walk into the forest and expect nothing to happen. Like there may be a pack of wolves out there. There may be a fucking bear out there that you really can't take on by yourself, So that's really cool. I never even thought about the proposition of a pack of wolves. That'd be really cool.
Yeah, me neither. Pack of wolves sounds sweet.
And then again, if you take it down, you get their wolf meat and possibly fur, depending on what you want to do with it.
Yeah.
Right.
And they're soon enough they're going to have to add in a pretty good combat knife. I know there's one in the game already, but I think they're going to have to add in like a designated one, because when it comes to cooking, you're going to be using your knife an awful lot.
Yeah. Yep, I completely agree. He also did talk about new zombie behavior. Again, this is 4 to 6 months down the road on the roadmap. More responsive, a redeveloped aggro system, and more benefits to stealth. Did you guys happen to catch that portion of the presentation?
Yeah, I think what stood out to me in that slide was the fact that they had removed some of the stealth benefits from previous patches. So I think what he was talking about there was zombies picking up on sound, because I've noticed in the last few games that I've played, like trying to sneak past zombies is much harder. They seem to just turn around and instantly see you, like
right.
Whereas previously you could crouch down and go behind a fence or whatever and you'd be safe. But I've noticed that from now on they've been just turning around and chasing you down. So yeah, let's hope that they put that back in.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah, the aggro system, I hope they roughly fix it so like zombies can be put to your advantage as well. And when zombies when they're in their like untouched state, like not their linger state or their purposely walking state, I hope they're not just standing, like they'll always be roaming like by it. But like I know the spawns for zombies at Balota and Northeast off by heart. Like I know exactly where they spawn.
Right.
When they spawn, they should be like wandering a bit. Like it's at the stage like you can confirm if someone's there if the zombies aren't in their spots or they're moving, because they're only going to move for players. So
yeah,
I hope that gets fixed. Like they do wander and loiter a bit. Like they need a better loitering state.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's kind of funny how the cycle of standalone has gone. You know, back in DayZ in the mod, it took a while for people to realize that if zombies are present in a town, then someone is there. You know, it took a while for people to learn that. It took a while for people to kind of use that as a tactic to know whether someone is close to them or not, or what if they were overwatching a city and if someone was inside that city. And now we're getting to the point in standalone where we are learning the positions of zombies and where they spawn. And if zombies are out of that position but they are present, then you know that someone has been in that area, at least in the near, you know, within recent past. So it doesn't necessarily mean that someone is still there, because they could have walked through that town an hour ago or 30 minutes ago. And, you know, you happen to be in the same network bubble or something. So that's interesting, and I haven't really thought about that too much, but I am looking forward to more benefits to stealth. I really used to be that player in DayZ where I was slinking everywhere. I was crouch walking everywhere, trying to be as quiet as possible, walking very slowly across.
It worked most of the time.
Yeah, it worked well, and I guess, like, especially with some of the other mods, like Breaking Point when it was out, and even Aftermath and Epoch to a certain extent, you know, you can stealth past zombies if you're really careful. But in standalone, man, I just run everywhere. I don't. There's no possible way that zombies will see you from like a mile away if you so happen to be within their eyesight. So, yeah, I'm excited for the new zombie behavior.
Plus, with no vehicles being in the game, people time-wise can't really afford to be sneaking around like that if they want to go somewhere, because like, you know, everyone has a life, and like it's just like you have to run to get from A to B. So like if you see a Z and you crouch around, sometimes that won't even work, but it's gonna take you a long time if you want to go untouched. Now with the aggro system, with the zombie system that there is, if you run down a slight decline, the zombies will like fly forward, like zombie bowling. So that's not really much of an issue. So there's a hot fix, a player bug fix for that. But also they have just going back onto zombies, they have lag of it. Like when they're trying to chase you, I think this is server side, but this happens on all servers for me. Like let's say if you were to do a circle, it'll chase your position you were half a second ago, if you get me. And that makes it possible for being impossible to be hit by a zombie, because all you have to do is sort of run around them with your axe out counterclockwise, and then you can just swing at them and they can't actually get you if you're running counterclockwise, and they just keep chasing you.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that should be fixed.
Moving right along, he did talk about the central loot economy, meaning controlling the amount of certain amounts of loot that are in the system. So it'll be like per hive, there'll be only a certain amount of M4s in the game at any given point in time.
I actually really like the idea of a kind of central loot thing. I don't know if you guys ever played World of Warcraft or any of the other kind of big MMOs out there that have big servers, but they have certain items on those servers that only one, well, most of the time it's only one person could have, and whoever had it, like, they would kind of end up being like a kind of mini celebrity on the server, like, because people would see it and they'd say, oh, there's that guy with the, you know, the fucking,
I know what you mean,
the ultimate warglaves of Azeroth or whatever the fuck it was called. So it kind of gives you a status. So if there's one guy running around the server with night vision goggles, he's going to need some protection, because as soon as he gets spotted by anyone, like, he's going to be a target, just massive target on your head.
Yep. I agree. I don't necessarily have a problem with there being a central loot economy, as long as like they keep it within reason, and like, you know, like mid-tier weapons, mid-tier weapons, I would say would be like an AK or something like that. They're higher than like a Mosin. It's higher than like a hunting rifle.
Yeah.
But it's not like a tricked out like I don't know, M40 sniper rifle or some shit like that. Like my hope would be that wouldn't be super rare. There's a lot of military bases on the map, so it's reasonable that those weapons would be pretty prevalent. So it's kind of a hurry up and wait and see what happens with it and how they want to control gun population. So
just splitting in between slides here. Probably a big-ish topic just to cut in between slides, but what do you guys think about the new spawns? Like the way like everything is East Coast based now, with the exception of Electro. Now I've noticed that they've pushed it a bit more towards like the east, towards the west. Like the best spawn point is now the west of Electro. By the best, I mean, the most westerly point.
Right.
What do you think?
Yeah.
Do you think it's a move for the best or the worst? Now, personally, everyone I've asked, I was going to actually make a video on it and tag one of the devs. So, every time someone liked it and if they had their Twitter link, they would actually send it to the devs. And I've done a quick 25-person survey on my Skype, and people just, like, no one actually agreed with it. Like, they prefer the old system. And they give detailed enough explanations, which are fairly valid. So, what do you guys think about the new spawn system?
I think the major reasoning behind the whole movement of spawns was that people, like the old spawns were too centralized around Balota airfield, and it made it such a hotspot that people were just spawning and instantly running there because it was the closest airfield. Whereas now, like if you spawn anywhere on the east or kind of southeast coast, you kind of have a choice between northeast or Balota, with northwest being like the kind of furthest away. So I guess it just means people are further away from end gear loot. I think that's all they tried to accomplish with that, and it has worked, I think.
Yeah, I don't really have a problem with it. It means a lot more running, but I really don't have a problem with the way they changed the spawns. Yeah, I think it was a necessary evil. If it was something that people don't like, then it was a necessary evil, I think. So,
Let's move on to barricading.
Yeah. Thoughts on barricading? What did you pick up from?
One of the things Rocket said was that they really liked the barricading system from Dead Linger, which is Xbox game, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, it's on Steam.
Oh, is it on PC as well?
Yep.
I
went and checked it out because I'd never heard of it.
Yeah, I've heard people talking about it, but I've never played it. The barricading system looks pretty sweet. Like it's the sort of stuff. It's really similar to Epoch, I guess. You find some wood, find some nails, and you bang them on a window, and it just strengthens it. So that it's going to be a cool feature for holding down buildings.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be a bit ishy when it comes to ghosting. Well, not even ghosting, but a player accidentally spawns in, like, because people are going to want to do this in, like, I'm assuming by barricading, like, there's going to be like a single door barricade that's universal that you can fit on any door. There's going to be double door barricading. There's going to be possibly big ones. So like I could imagine players actually locking down big hotspots like police stations, and lots of players log out in police stations and come back in.
Yeah,
and
you're right.
so if you're setting up shop in a police station on a private server, on a Hive server, this would work great on private servers. Like they're on one Hive, like, no other servers, but I can't really see this working too well. Maybe on the spot you're having a gunfight, you have all the gear you need to barricade up the prison. Sure, you do it. Like if you know you're going to be there for another hour or something, deck the place up, and that'll be good. But as for people, coming in and looting stuff, if you want to set up shop there, I don't think it's going to be too good, to be honest. But I like the idea of it. It's cool. It is.
Yeah, you might be right, man. I can totally see people just ghosting, because it only takes 5 minutes to ghost. Like they might have put a fix in, but at the end of the day, it does only take 5 minutes to hop to one server and hop back.
And maybe like only certain doors and stuff, like, so like you can't just place a door barricade anywhere. Like you there it has to fit in the door frame. So all the door frames get registered as like possible locations for the door barrier, window barriers, etc.
He did say that that's something that they're going to have to address before they put in barricading and before they put in any kind of system where you can take over a building is the ability to ghost from, just hop off the server that's barricaded, go onto another server, and get inside the building, and then, and then log back into the original server, and suddenly you're inside the barricaded building. He said that is something they're going to have to address before barricading goes in. So I would imagine that, I don't know how they're going to do that, but maybe if you spawn in a building that's got that's barricaded up, there's no exit, then maybe it would put you right outside the building or some kind. That's what my hope would be. Like it would suck to do that, and it would put you back on the coast. But that's also a potential thing that would happen. So that is something that he did say they will adjust. They will figure out before then. So
I think an easy fix for that would be like, if the only two doors that enter this building are barricaded, it does a quick check to see where you are before you're in the game, and then if you are in there, it'll just say you can't log in here, and then probably even give the reason that the building you are currently trying to log into is barricaded. Now, of course, there's going to be no clipping glitches. You can do the vault thing where you log in, then you log in. That needs to be addressed. Yeah. But there's always going to be bugs like that. But I think that should be cool. Like that, you do get a pop up, and there has to be sort of an indication system that's scans you before you come in.
Yeah, too bad you have to go to a different server because that building that you're currently in is barricaded. So yeah, I wouldn't have a problem with that either.
But just even to let you know to move, not like, that's why I mean, like, give the indication, because but like, even if you still want to play in the server, just move out of that building and then
come back.
Now it will give you the location of that building, but sure.
But yeah, I mean,
I think that's the best course of action.
I think that's the easiest fix. I really agree with you. I think that's the easiest fix. Moving on, he did talk about basic vehicles. This is in the third quarter of this year, so we're looking at further down the line. We're looking at basically the end of summer into fall before this happens. So vehicles pushed, I think, a bit further. I think this is going to be a bit disappointing for a lot of players. Vehicles pushed a bit further than I think everybody would have hoped. Looking at the slide, what are your guys' thoughts?
I think we spoke about this last week. Like, vehicles are such a massive part of DayZ mod that they really need to be done right in order for people to enjoy them. So I really don't mind waiting 6 months to have a proper customized like brand new vehicle system, where you can fully customize a vehicle, like down to the nuts and bolts that hold it together. And in the fact that they say it's going to be physics based, so it's not just going to be the armor model where things are just attached and stuff like that. It's going to be sweet. I'm happy to wait.
I think it's going to be like when they say customizable and configurable, as it says in the advanced as well. Like to be able to like put a machine gun on top of your vehicle. Like, let's say something. Now, bear with me when I'm saying this, right? You get a bus, you'll be able to like get iron together, and you'll be able to like make a ram at the front, and purely aesthetically, maybe even a few PvP properties there. You'd be able to board up the windows of it with maybe sheet metal or just wood. You'd be able to armor the tires a bit better, like put plates over the tires. What else? You'd be able to maybe put a gun that goes out the back window, maybe one like on top. Maybe there would be maybe a spot like storage, extra storage, so you can maybe lose a few seats, like rip out a few seats of the bus, and then maybe put in a crate or something.
Right.
And maybe upgrade the engine fuel tank size, like an external fuel tank. So maybe it goes on the top or something. But that's pretty much it. Like customizable in that sense.
Yeah, Kind
That's
of
what
like,
I'm hoping for.
Did you ever play the Origins mod?
No.
DayZ
I was going to
Origins?
mention Origins have a sweet ass bus that's just like that.
Yeah.
Really?
The Origins you could do that, and it was pretty badass. You could make like a little car, or a small truck into like a fortress. Basically, it was
Yeah.
pretty badass. But
I think that's the exact system that they're working on. Like that's the only reason it's going to take so long.
yeah.
But it's gonna be awesome, man.
So small vehicles at first. That's going to be the thing that they're really going to be implementing within the foreseeable future. So that's pretty cool. You know, a bicycle, motorcycles, ATV, and then possibly a small car. So we'll see how that turns out. Again, that's about minimum 6 months down the road, maybe even further than that. So we'll see how that goes. I am excited. It's nice to finally have an idea of when it's going to happen, but I would agree with Jamie. I'm okay with waiting, as long as it's well done and there's a reason to wait. Give me a reason to wait, because I think everybody has been the frustration. I think with everybody has been that like it's still the Arma 2 engine. There's vehicles everywhere in that engine, and the engine's already done it. So why is it so difficult? And I think it's because they want to do the customization. And they want to do it physics-based, which really changes a lot of the animations and things like that, and how the car acts within within the world.
Yeah.
So, and this kind of leads me on to what I think is probably the most exciting thing. He did put this into the Q3 or the third quarter portion of the roadmap. So we're talking at end of summer, beginning of fall, and that is modding support. So the ability for people to make their own mod, put it on the Steam Workshop, and make their own hive. That's a private hive. This to me is going to be the game changer. Because there are all these developers out there that have made awesome mods that most people still play. People still play Epoch. I know the Epoch guys are working on an Arma 3 mod. Maybe they decide not to do that, knowing that they only have to wait, 6 months down the road from now, and they'll have mod support for standalone. Maybe they make an Epoch standalone mod. I don't know. But there's a lot of people out there biting at the bit to get a hold of standalone as far as to mod. So, thoughts on that, guys?
Jamie, you want to go?
Yeah. Like you said, it's going to be a total game changer for the game. Mods like Battle Royale, Epoch, Overwatch, Aftermath, just all the big ones. I think, like you said, a lot of them are working on Arma 3 versions, but once they get the standalone code to work with, and the fact that it's going to be Steam Workshop compatible, is really going to drive developers towards it, and it's going to spawn. I think it's going to spawn I can just see dozens and dozens of mods, just for all sorts of different crazy stuff. Like, it's just going to help keep things fresh. It's going to ultimately help the actual proper development of the game, because they'll pick up ideas from all the cool mods that have been coming out.
Yeah.
It's going to be really good.
Going off what he said about dozens and probably even hundreds of stuff being developed and going into the Steam Workshop, if they could actually, if the DayZ team could maybe even give it a space on the not the homepage, the main menu, and have their approved mods. Like if someone goes to the time to rework Taviana, that's not something that can just go into Steam Workshop. That needs to be on the main menu. That needs to be on I don't know, other maps and mods. And like the approved BIS, you're talking the Molsk, Epoch, you're talking Taviana, Origin, like all that stuff. Like that. That's all the cool stuff.
I don't think we'll see too many Arma 2 maps and making it to Arma 3.
A map like Taviana, I'd love to see that reworked. Now I've seen the Molsk reworked in Arma 3 and playable in Arma 3 and downloadable. I've played on it and it is really cool. but I don't know how easy it is to just transition it to work on standalone, and if that's will be done player side or dev side. But
Yeah.
I cannot wait. And also, I'm assuming this leads into private Hive databases being more customizable.
Yeah.
That is gonna personally now help me a lot because I work on guide stuff, and to cover all the new stuff that comes out in the game and to find it all, especially with the amount of bugs in the game at the moment with the bullshit deaths, it's just so hard to get it. With this, like I'd gladly just pay for a server and have it for myself, a private Hive, and probably a few other guys to come on, test out the weapons, train with them, and get to use them.
Absolutely.
So personally, I think I cannot wait for database customization.
Yeah, I completely agree. I'm excited for that because especially with the Steam Workshop, there are people who all that they want to do is get their shit on basically on the Steam Workshop, and like if you are if you're any kind of like informed with Team Fortress 2 or Gary's mod or anything like that, there are so many people who love working and putting things on the Steam Workshop. So I think this really opens up to a whole new base of people who potentially could mod the game and make new things for it. So we'll see how it goes. I'm excited. Whenever this slide popped up, I was like, squee! Like I like nerdgasmed in my chair. So I really thought that this was going to be further down the line. We'll see if they're ready for it. Again, this is a roadmap of what they want to do, but not necessarily what's going to happen. We'll see how that goes. They did kind of sneak some nice little tidbits in there as far as player statistics. They're going to have some Steam achievements and some database interaction API for developers. So that's pretty cool. Build the thing that he did mention directly was, let's say that your character stays alive for so many days or so many weeks, then you get a little Steam achievement for that. That'll be really cool because then it kind of turns into a meta game between you and your Steam friends of how long you can stay alive and stuff like that.
Plus, I think that's, sorry for cutting off you there,
No, absolutely.
but that is a serious game changer because I have about 200 hours on DayZ Standalone, and if I didn't have a YouTube channel, I'd have nothing to show for it. Nothing at all. No. They're like, as serious as it gets, I'd have nothing to show for it. And that was the same with the mod. There's not, and this, I'm also going to go back to a previous slide also. Like the motivation to play, like you just keep dying, you've nothing to show apart from in-game skill, which like people bullshit about all the time. It's this Steam achievements and like ranking systems and counted deaths and all. Like, of course, you're going to be and kills as well. You're going to be able to see and KD. You're going to be able to see what players are like just by looking at this. And maybe DayZ game will have maybe you'll be using their website a lot more, and they'd have all the Hive stuff. Maybe not private Hive, but Hive stuff would all be counted. And going back, that be a motivation to play. Also, having the backpack thing. This is going back a bit now. Having backpacks, being able to place them down, persistent storage, huge motivation to play. I don't know if the dev team realize how important that is. You die, you could I die and I just give up for a good hour. Like I died earlier because I got rubber banded off the ATC and I haven't played it since about 1 today. Like I've just been staring at the wall. But just talking to guys, like it's just. Like like what I would do then in my free time, like I'd go loot and build up a huge arsenal of rifles, because if I die, I can quickly go back. I'd probably place it near Starry Sober, central map, and probably near the east coast.
Yeah.
And I'd go back and then, have it ready for me. And that's huge motivation for loads of people to play. So I think that's it. They really need to work on motivation to play the game and showing players how they can be more motivated to play the game.
Absolutely. No, I completely agree. Thoughts? Any last thoughts on those particular things, Jamie?
Going back to the player statistics slide, like you said, you had a bit of a nerdgasm when they were talking about modding support.
Yeah.
I had my nerdgasm when they were talking about database interaction API for developers in terms of
what exactly is that?
Like you said there, you'll probably find yourself using the DayZ site more because they're going to have like leaderboards and stuff or statistics to view. But he did actually say on stage that they're not going to do that. They're going to let other developers take the reins and run those sites like on their behalf. So as soon as I seen that, like I went off and bought a domain name for my new site that's gonna run leaderboards and statistics and all sorts of other stuff. So
Yeah.
keep an eye out for that. I'm not going to share the URL, but
Yeah.
I will do as soon as the site's finished.
Awesome. So yeah, that'll be very cool. Excited to see that. And that was another thing that this was, and I know we've mentioned it like 3 or 4 times now. This is how I think kind of far ahead DayZ Aftermath was. Aftermath had like player statistics and info that you could go in and see, like how many times you've died, how many times you've died to zombies, how many times you've killed players, you know, how many times you killed a bandit, how many times you know, all that kinds of things. So and so I guess hats off goes to the Aftermath guys. They either had some crazy insider information, or they were just really way ahead of their time. Kind of wrapping up the third quarter as far as the roadmap goes, they did talk about horticulture, growing your own plants, would be persistent to the server, and some type of a prototype will be coming in, I guess before the third quarter is what he mentioned. Thoughts on horticulture, guys?
Awesome. Pure
First
awesomeness.
off,
Like, you go.
What the hell does horticulture mean?
Just
I've never seen that word before.
I'm
Googling
it. Raising plants, vegetation, farming, basically.
In before
Part
you.
of agriculture that deals with science, technology, and business involved in intensive plant cultivation.
Skadoosh.
You can read.
Skadoosh. With that Google definition.
Yeah, that sounds cool, man. So, so we're gonna have little farms that we can come back to and tend to and make sure that everything's growing fine.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. It's gonna be sweet.
Bambi traps.
This
You'd be able to poison them.
Yeah,
And have your plots all over the place. Use them as bait. Have noobs pick them. Go like hammer through your potatoes. Next thing you know, their mouth has a funny taste and they're knocked the fuck out. And you know you can go there. And also something I forgot to say. I'm going back blast from the past here on these slides, but dragging bodies. I forgot to mention it while I was talking about it. It was so important to be able to drag a dead body away, and also an unconscious body out of the firefight. Like it's very important. So I hope that's sorted out as well. I failed to mention it earlier.
No,
but
it is. Yeah, it's a great point.
Also the horticulture. That's going to be awesome. That is like in more ways, like the sickle, the hoe, and the pitchfork finally get their use. No, but I'm assuming that's what they're adding in the game. Like the hoe is like shit, so you know that's all for farming. But the sickle should have good killing properties as well.
And this also, like, this is kind of like a silly. I don't know if it's silly, but it should matter to people who actually care about the game. This having things like farming and persistent objects and base building, like let's take a look at Epoch. What made Epoch and Origins to an extent so popular was the ability to craft your own base, was the ability to have your own space on the server. I'm staking my claim, this is what I made and I'm proud of it and I'm going to defend it now. Well,
Yeah.
like that's what made those mods popular. So now if you're bringing in like building structures into the game, you're also building in horticulture into the game where you can have your own you know, pumpkin patch or whatever. You know, that's another almost game changer, because there's going to be a whole group of people who aren't interested in PvP whatsoever. There's a massive group of people who are not interested in PvP. They don't want to shoot other people and they don't want to get shot at. But they would love to go out and hunt. They would love to go out and build their own house, and they would love to go out and make their own farm and make food. And that seems boring to some people who just want to shoot people in the faces, but that's just their type of gameplay. So this is another game changer that really diversifies DayZ and has a chance to introduce a whole new crop of people into I didn't even think about that before I said it.
On the ball. You're on the ball.
Before so it has a potential to bring a whole new player base into the game. So that's always exciting. Any thoughts on horticulture?
Man,
Silence, the
I
silence
don't
tells
think
me
anyone
no.
can top that. Jamie, good luck topping what he just said. Yeah, the
Um,
horticulture's cool. Yeah, I like vegetables. Yeah.
and I'll be honest, I probably won't do it. I probably won't do it. I'll just probably I'm that guy. I would just rather shoot people. Like I, having my own base maybe okay, but I don't know if I'll be a farmer in DayZ Standalone. I don't see myself being
You're
that
just
way.
gonna be there eating like 2 year out of date canned beans. Me and Jamie are gonna be having nice fresh potato and leek soup.
Mm.
You're gonna probably catch like death or something.
I'll
And
just
me and him are gonna be so healthy, and you're
I'll
just gonna be
just
like dead.
I'll just raid your base and take all your shit.
Ah, yes, but we're gonna. You see,
Poison
we're gonna have
potatoes.
a special thing. Yeah, poison potatoes. We're gonna have poison bags. We're gonna have a poison base. We're gonna poison everything. We're gonna set
um,
claymores everywhere. So like, all we have to do is, if you raid our base, we'll just look up in the sky and we'll see the ragdoll physics fucking up. Just you'll see your body like flying in the air. Man, imagine if that happened. An explosion happened. You flew across the map, and just before you hit the ground, you like healed yourself. Teleportation.
Man. I'm pretty sure Battle Eye would pick that up and probably auto ban you. I think as far as the presentation at Resco, he ended with the long-term goals as far as the roadmap goes, and those consisted of advanced vehicles and what he called extended barricading, which would be existing barricading onto full construction. So it allows players to create new structures. We already kind of talked about advanced vehicles as far as the ability to upgrade a vehicle to put a gun on it or put metal over the tires so people can't shoot your tires out. But he did say, and I think this is a confirmation as far as vehicles go, that there will be cars, trucks, planes, helicopters, and boats added to DayZ. Again, this is the fourth quarter of this year, so we're looking at the end of this year into next year. So winter into spring of next year. So I have to kind of preface the fourth quarter with saying that, because that is a ways off, almost
Long
a
time.
year off from now.
We'll probably be on Dead Air episode 100 by the time we see this.
Let's hope. Let's hope. But
Episode 100 vehicle special.
what do you guys think about advanced vehicles? I know we already kind of touched on it.
I don't know. Like the only thing I just say, like similar approach, is weapon attachment. So like you'll be able to like do stuff to your engine wheels. So like be able to trade out the wheels for some Humvee wheels, like airless tires. You don't go as fast, but like those things are tanks and they're virtually indestructible. Maybe the axle. Like I'm assuming what they're gonna do. Like they're gonna have maybe engine, fuel tank. What else? Wheels, axle. Maybe not axles. Body. Different parts of the body, glass, probably even reinforced glass, and then bulletproof glass, like the rarest of the rarest bulletproof glass. And there's only
Yeah.
like some of it, like it doesn't protect all of you, and maybe some shutters as well, so you can maybe open them. And let's say if you're like, you can just have them open a bit rather than actually just having it like fully covered. Or if you don't have bulletproof glass, at least you can't see as much in first person, but it's still better than not having like open shutters.
Yeah.
Kind of like the BTR, the way it raises up.
Yeah. Jamie, thoughts on advanced vehicles?
I'm a bit skeptical as to the way he was talking about components for helicopters. Like, if helicopters turn into one of those things where it's extreme endgame, where you need like 10, 12 players just to get like anywhere near having a functional helicopter.
And the fact it's going to disappear at the end of the day. There's nowhere safe to put it.
Yeah, and like what's the stop people just finding a helicopter and okay, maybe they won't have the keys or whatever, but like just shooting it up or just completely ruining it, setting it on fire, whatever. And that's like 10 hours of work gone. Like,
hopefully this is where extended barricading comes in.
Yeah. And that's actually, I think I agree with you. I think I think before you really make a helicopter part like a rotor assembly super ultra rare that there's only going to be like one rotor assembly. If you have 10 servers on a hive, there's only going to be one rotor assembly on the entire hive. If you're going to make it that rare, you have to give players the ability to actually protect that
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
that investment. So I wholeheartedly agree with you guys. Commander, you made that comment early on in the show, and I would echo it as well as with you, Jamie. That it I don't like that, and I am skeptical. So the constructing some kind of a wall or some kind of a compound to protect a helicopter would be paramount.
And also, like before helicopters come out, or well, at least like before even thinking about releasing helicopters, fixing the netcode. Imagine something that like you get in the ground happens up in the air, and you get rubber banded or something. You hit a hill or something. All that hard work. No, I'm not even joking. Like that's serious. That is like the amount of time it will take to get yourself a helicopter. And you know,
Yeah.
like something stupid to do with the netcode, like a complete BS thing that should be fixed before even helicopters should be out. That should be consulted. Hopefully, it will be, but like DayZ mod has its own little hiccups when you're in the air. But if DayZ standalone had a helicopter as it is now, no, that'd be way
Oh
too
no, it'd be
hard to run.
broken. It'd be
Terrible.
broken. It would be so broken.
Also, I'd make runways more accessible for planes. Like planes are great and all, but like you only have 3 places to land. Maybe if it's a small enough plane, alright, you can land in the odd field and stuff, but make planes more like better, like
Yeah.
if you get me. Like
Yeah.
because in the mod,
Yeah.
planes weren't the best. Like if you find a plane, like you should be able to like park it somewhere up north, like make it easy, take off in a field,
Oh, I get what you're
make
saying.
them actually put like usable vehicles rather than you just take a plane up into the air and eject where you want.
I think that's a
And,
bit
and
of a
this way, they're gonna have to introduce parachutes as well.
yeah. I don't
Maybe
know.
take up your bag.
I've seen some streamers like put down a plane like on an incline on a hill, like it's kind of crazy, and then take off from it. Like it just I think with the planes and stuff, I think they may just say like, okay, well, if you wanna fly a plane and save it and keep it, you're gonna have to be skilled enough to actually land it. So
Mm.
um,
By planes, though, I think they're gonna go along the Cessna range. The
probably
Cessnas are perfect little private little planes, and I don't think they're gonna add anything as big as the C-130J. Possibly the biplane as the biggest, but apart from that, I don't think there's gonna be anything bigger than the little Cessnas plane wise.
um,
What do you think helicopter wise? What do you think helos are gonna be added? I'm thinking a Huey,
oh
but
yeah, I think
I'm not
that'll probably be the
I
first one.
don't think.
I would like
Uh,
to see. I know that somebody in chat just kind of rates it up. I would like to see the one-man helis, the Moseys, added to the game. It's not great
yeah.
if you have a squad, but it would be awesome if you're a lone player. I don't really play with squads all that much, especially when I'm streaming. I'm a lone wolf, so having the ability to have a single seat helicopter that maybe doesn't require all the same amount of parts and stuff that a Huey would, um, then that would really I think that'd be great. Maybe
Yeah.
it doesn't have like any storage capabilities like the Huey does, but yet at the same time it doesn't require the same parts. So I would like to
Taking
see
off
that.
customization as well. Like if you get a Huey together, like unnecessary parts, you'd be maybe have a radar, a 500-meter radar that like would appeared in the cockpit that would show up little blips of other objects in the air or something like that, or vehicles very loud that are moving, something like that.
Yeah.
And M240s, like you have to get like the stand and then put the M240 on it if you want to rock the M240s on it, or maybe
Right.
I don't think the minigun maybe, but like I've seen Hueys with the minigun, but I don't think they'll introduce that. But I can see you having to add the M240s onto it, and probably like a civilian Mi-17 too.
Yeah. So I agree. Thoughts? Any last thoughts as far as advanced vehicles go, gentlemen?
Not really.
Okay.
Nah.
And I think the last two slides he had, the last two things he talked about, as far as fourth quarter goes of the roadmap for DayZ, is extended barricading, being able to construct your own structure, and being able to barricade, turn a barricade into a full construction, and it being persistent. We've already kind of talked about a little bit of barricading. We all knew that he was going to do some kind of a player housing construction system of some kind, you know. He had previously talked months ago about like an underground construction. We don't know if that's what he means in this particular. He didn't reference anything being underground.
I like this concept of instanced worlds.
Yeah.
Like when you go into a building in Skyrim, that's pretty awesome. And also making your own structures that gets rid of ghosting. Like no one's going to ghost into a building you have in a field. Like there's a very small chance, but or maybe if someone actually knows where it is, well then they'll do it. But you know, like I don't think I like less ghosting. So, but then again, it could go into like an epoch style thing, you know, where like people build these huge towers below the. So that's hopefully we don't see any of that, but.
I think, especially if they attach any of the physics to any of the construction, like even like kind of a simple way like Minecraft, like you have to have something supported. You know, like in Minecraft, you have to have a structure supported somewhat properly, or otherwise it'll basically fall apart.
Yeah.
That would be pretty cool. I'd be okay with that. That way you don't have somebody making a floating base, you know. I'm okay with that. I think this is a lot of like they're keeping this entirely vague for a reason, because I don't think they know what they want to do, whether it's going to be an instanced building that is basically technically not on the server but kind of on the server. Do you guys understand what I'm saying by that?
It's a game changer. It is like, you know, they'll need some time. Like this could make it like almost a Rust style thing. So they're gonna have to take some time to actually think about even adding it in, or if they are gonna add it in, what will it be? Will it be like being able to like customly place wall staircases,
right.
or if it's gonna be like you can find I know it sounds weird, but like a deer stand flat pack sort of thing,
right?
That you can just erect a deer stand
like
where you want.
A blueprint. Like you'd find a blueprint.
Yeah. And then you're able. So with the blueprint and a certain amount of wood and whatever you need, like, and then you can mount a gun on the deer stand if you want, something like that, you know.
Yeah. So
I don't think it's going to be fully fledged. Like you have your wall, you have your floor, you have your ceiling, you have your like barriers, you have your doors, your locks for the doors, stuff like that, and staircases and ladders. I don't think it's going to be like that.
And one thing we kind of didn't talk about whenever we hit the modding, I think Commander you mentioned it briefly, was that some of the things that people mod for the game could end up being a part of the game.
Yeah.
So like,
but then some things don't deserve it.
No,
like maybe there's like a custom map someone made, but then there's stuff like if someone does make it like a brand new map, fully done up, that, you know, need like a Taviana, like that should be almost a part of the game. Like we're like, as we don't have a DayZ commander, we, you know, there needs to be something on the main map.
Right. Well, and like I'm even talking just specifically about like housing. So like, let's say someone was to make a mod for standalone, that there is a really great mod out there for making a building or building materials or a crafting system, that they go, holy crap, this is better than what we were thinking about doing, so we're gonna make this part of the game.
I see. That's
so kind of.
I can totally see that happening.
Yeah, like I know that Rocket in particular has been pretty vocal as far as on forums and things like that about how impressed he was with what the Epoch team did as far as base building and stuff. So that totally could happen with standalone, where someone makes a mod, even if it was like the Epoch guys were like, let's just make a standalone version of you know, like they could call it the Epoch add-on for standalone or something, you know, and you know, those are just kind of thoughts off the top of my head, but that totally is possible, I think. Any last thoughts on extended barricading or construction?
That's pretty much it. It's a fairly vague topic, so it's really just spitballing our own ideas and opinions. So hopefully it turns out well.
The last thing he said at the end of the presentation was advanced social mechanics. This like to some people this may be a bit of a like an understatement. Like I would be okay with this being in the third quarter, like some kind of way of identifying your friendlies. So a faction identification method, like he said, like an armband. Did you guys catch any of that?
I think armbands are a really good idea because I can't see them taking too much time, like in terms of development. So it would just be like a wearable thing. You slap it on your arm and you paint it. Like maybe there's some sort of system where you can put stripes on it or different shapes like circles and squares and stuff, and just build up a really simple kind of clan emblem, I guess.
That'd be really cool. It stops having to worry about, you know, going your team. Is that you? Is that you? And then having to quickly scan their body for identifiable things. You'd be able to look on their shoulder. They might have. I don't know if you've ever watched. Well, that's a stupid question. You know, you've watched Star Wars, and you know the way that some of the clone troopers have like I think the stormtroopers, they have like a little black thing over their right shoulder.
Right.
Maybe you can have a custom design that goes there. And all you have to do is quickly scan their right shoulder. If it's there, it's not even a question of asking. You just scan on by, and you know, you tell your teammates to do the same for you, and that's pretty much it. Usually, though, whenever there's like on roleplay servers where we're not allowed to use Skype and TS, usually if there's ever a situation like that, we just have a word of the day. So usually it's a starfish or octopus or something like that. But I think those armbands would be amazing. Also, whitelisting for RP service. Are any of you guys signed up on DayZ RP?
No. I've never played DayZ.
The concept of it, as soon as whitelisting comes in, like DayZ RP comes into play on DayZ Standalone, I say you sign up for it like now, because it is definitely going to be amazing for live streaming. Great footage for live streaming.
Oh yeah, I believe
like the requirements are you have to have a microphone, and I don't know if you played DayZ RP, but well, you haven't. But the mic quality, it's like you're talking to someone on Skype. It is brilliant. Like the codec has just been buffed up. Like it's great. It is. So hopefully when whitelisting comes in, I'm just going to be sticking this to a roleplay service, because it's going to be so much fun.
Absolutely.
Have any of you guys heard what the dev team said about when they tested the 100-man service?
I maybe I have. I'm not sure.
The future of 100-man servers or huge servers like that. No.
I haven't heard anything. I mean, he dropped the 100 or 200 number server whenever he was talking about the multi-threading and multi-core. So it's still got to be in the works.
I went on it and it was a mess. Like when they were doing the testing, like it took me a while to get one, but when I went on, I spawned Electro. The roads were just full of people. No one was killing each other. Everyone was unarmed, so they were just talking and like going on about how crazy this is. And like there was swarms of people like everywhere. And the 100-man servers had their own hive, so everyone spawned in fresh. So everyone was near the coast and everyone's seeing each other. So no one got a chance to go inland, but it was crazy. It was like there'd be boxing fights everywhere there was, and people like screaming and shit, playing music and all, running around, no clothes. It's fucking brilliant. But I can't see it being too realistic. Like that's really, you have to watch your back.
Yeah, I can't wait. I think that a year from now, a 100-man server, and this is just a minor prediction. I'm not gonna like say this is what I really think is gonna happen, but I think that there is a good chance that a year from now, a 100-man server is the regular. Like it's.
Well, I wouldn't mind 70-man servers as the top. Like they work on, as you've seen on the mod. 75-man servers.
I've always thought, and this is just my personal thing, but I've always thought that Churnerus was too big for anything under 70.
Yeah, you're right.
It's just too big, and you could walk hours and never see anybody. And
no, that's not my look. I'd go on a server with 2 people. I'd get capped instantly.
Terrible. The other thing he did say, as far as I think this was attached to what he was talking about as far as factions, spawn systems tied to controlled locations. So I would imagine what he means by that is if your faction controls a certain location, then you spawn times into that location is greater. Is what I'm catching from that. Did you guys get any other vibes from that?
I was kind of thinking more of the fact, like if you become part of a certain faction, then you are more likely to spawn closer to wherever like that group is, or whatever their base is or whatever. But you could be right, like maybe it is to do with the spawn timers.
That makes total sense. So if your faction controls like Mogilivka, then you can choose to spawn or something like that in Mogilivka.
Whoa, that's intense.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I didn't even think about that. Yeah, so forget what I said. What Jamie said. And lastly, kind of rounding up this advanced social mechanics is better UI support for trading. I think that being able to have any kind of system, like we mentioned World of Warcraft earlier. World of Warcraft, like you drop your item in that you want to trade, and the person you're trading with can see that. They drop the item that they want to trade in, and then you click the ready button, they click the ready button, and you're good to go.
And then the trade goes through.
And you don't have to worry about putting something on the ground and somebody not putting something on the ground.
Imagine it turns into like something out of RuneScape or something like.
I was going to mention RuneScape.
Quickly says they're giving like a buffed up Lee Enfield, but it's really like a Mosin with a PU scope. They're like, dude, quick trade me, and like some guy trades you like a pimped out M4, and you quickly trade, and like he runs off, lol, scammed,
lol.
Lol, and then the guy's like, I'm reporting you, faggot. Oh man, imagine if they introduced rare items. I know it wouldn't work too well because people die a lot, but imagine that. Party hats.
Yeah.
Party
hats, man.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, that was kind of what I think that was total, the kind of the total gambit as far as the rezzed, the EGXRezzed presentation that Rocket did this past weekend. Really quick, let's talk about post-patch reaction, 0.42, real quick, and your wish list for the next couple of patches, or maybe even long-term. So be thinking about your wish list, guys. And let's just talk about the patch, 0.42, and the subsequent hotfix, real quick. Initial thoughts, or your thoughts as is, 0.42.
Fuck.
Fuck.
Like, the hotfix, like, that was just... it was just 12 kilobytes of packets. Nothing more.
Yeah.
It was just random packets. I bet there was nothing in that hotfix at all. But 042, what did we get? What did we get in 042 again?
We got a
like
of stuff.
3 videos.
Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff.
We got loads of stuff, but like, we got a load of problems though.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what it was. Like when 42 came out, like we couldn't play. That was crazy. And then the hotfix, we got more packets, still couldn't play. So
on one of my streams, I actually was playing. And then I was like, this is like unplayable. The rubber banding, the desync, this is unplayable. And I actually stopped playing DayZ and went to play something else. It was just it was terrible. Like, it was bad. Rocket did make mention, I can't remember where it was. It was during one of the Q&As that I think, and it was also he kind of mentioned it when he was talking about a more efficient or a better way of testing before they go out to stable, or before they go out, before they put out a patch to stable, is that they're going to have to be better about not breaking new shit when they're supposed to be fixing the game. He said, and this is a paraphrased quote, but he basically said that it's not going to be cute anymore. Like, some of the things that are cute now in DayZ, because it kind of makes it's an Arma thing, it's like, oh, it's just Arma, it's just Arma. That it's just that's kind of the thing that kind of makes DayZ what it is, and that shit's not going to be cute for very long. And so those things
they're going to start
go away.
They're going to start losing players, like, if they don't start fixing that sort of stuff. So
yeah,
I think I like the way he phrased it. It's not going to be cute.
Yeah, I agree. So I mean, I don't know. Like, I think the biggest thing for 0.42 that I really enjoyed, the eat all option. Fuck yeah, the eat all option.
Yeah, that's
Jesus
very good.
Christ, I love it.
Time saver.
It's a big time saver. You can catch rain into a canteen. and a water bottle from the inventory. A lot of people don't even know you can do that. That's pretty awesome.
It's cool.
I liked
It's
all the
slow
new
enough,
paintable
but
gear.
it's good.
What'd you
Sorry,
say?
man.
Yeah, definitely.
Just saying, I liked all the new paintable gear, paintable helmets, fire axes, all the attachments for the M4. Just brings a new level of customization to gearing up.
Yep. Been seeing a lot of tactical bacon spawn around town. Good old tactical bacon. And then of course the new town, Ternaya, Polana. Me and Commander absolutely love that town. That town like has everything you'll ever want.
It's great. Like Northeast is so. Like it's recognized for like the big PvP hotspot, which that's good because you have Krasnostav coming in on the new update. We have a new police station added in, which is absolutely amazing. Guaranteed almost 3 guns if you go in unlooted.
Yep.
All right, so you've Krasnostav, you've 1 piano house, 2 red brick buildings, 1 police station, and a school.
Yeah.
Just north is Northeast Airfield. You have 2 hangars, 1 ATC, and 2 police stations. North, you go to Shania Polana. You have 1 new police station, 1 fire station. You have 3 piano buildings and 4 red brick buildings. Don't ask me how I know. I just know. And it's OP as hell. Like, and now imagine loot spawning that on 2 empty servers at nighttime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're done gear wise. That's what I did. Took about 45 minutes, and then on the second time I went downwards, so I was at Shania Polana, I was working my way down, made it to the ATC, straight off the side.
Right.
Rubber banded, like it was like a slingshot, like it just lock and loaded me. I was on the runway, straight off the side. Great, lovely, love it.
So
Yeah.
so yeah, that's
it's a bit OP, I think.
Any as far as .42, any things that you guys were really excited about or hated besides the rubber banding? That's bullshit.
The fix that if you had a helmet, you weren't invincible to zombies. Now that they mainly go for chest shots, the zombies do.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it.
Yep. All right. Jamie, anything from .42?
I think we discussed 4.2 like previously I think in the last episode we spoke about it quite extensively, but yeah, I really like the paintable stuff, and obviously the new guns.
Right. Cool. So yeah, you can go join up a game right now. Go play some DayZ Standalone, and that's what's up right now is .42, and then a bunch of numbers behind that. But I haven't really been playing with experimental or anything like that at all for this new patch, so I can't really speak to that at all.
Has the experimental been updated to a?
Oh no, there's no experimental right now.
Yeah, I mean,
okay.
I just.
Do you know if, let's say, I'm in Svetlo, the new town, and that was when I was testing out the Ruger 1022 just before it was deployed.
Yeah.
Will I still be there?
I think so. You mean like when experimental ones?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, because it's on its own hive,
Cool.
correct?
All right.
I think so.
Cool.
The other thing, and this is now that we're kind of talking about experimental, I do want to mention one of the things that he did. He said multiple times across a couple of Q&A sessions was that they'll randomly, not necessarily randomly, but they turn systems on and off in experimental. They'll just turn something on to see if it works, and if it doesn't, then they'll turn it off. So
That's what it's for. Like
yeah.
if they turn on something that's bad, they'll see uproar on Twitter, and that'll get instantly fixed. And I think they should urge people more to contact them like through Twitter, and like if there is a big problem, make sure you get to us on Twitter, and maybe have a dedicated Twitter for that, so it can be fixed, tested, and see what the Twitter's like then.
Yeah.
I think the experimental is crucial, and I think they should work with it a lot more.
Yeah, and I that's one of the things I was about to say is that if
as of now, raincoats don't work. And that was like that on the experimental servers.
Really?
And they decided to add in getting wet. Now, you don't get sick from being wet. You just get soaked. And you don't lose any gear. It doesn't damage anything.
Right.
So that's okay. But it'd be cool if, they added in rain. They added in getting soaked. So they should have added in working raincoats, and maybe even something you could put over your trousers.
Right.
Maybe not something you can put over
like a
your
poncho of
jacket.
some
Like you need.
kind.
maybe not a poncho. But you need a dedicated jacket. You could get a hoodie that comes with that jacket, so you wouldn't be able to wear a hat. It would sort of take up your hat space, and it would move your hat into your inventory if there was space, or onto the ground.
Right.
And you'd have something that you could put over your thing, as if you were dragging a tack light onto a 1911, go over your trousers, and then boots would remain the same. I don't think you should be using wellies. I think the normal military boots should be, or jungle boots, they should be sufficiently waterproof if they're pristine.
Cool. Wish lists. Let's talk about a quick wish list. What would you, if you, one thing that hasn't been mentioned as far as the roadmap goes that you want added into the game within the next year? Go.
Something I want to see creep up very soon would be kind of advanced cooking recipes. So I would like to be able to put a whole bunch of ingredients together, stick it in an oven, and come out with like a cheese and bacon omelet, something like that. Like something stupid. Like
that sounds really good.
And the advantages wouldn't just be to like fill you up. There would be other things like just I think we talked about Project Zomboid in previous episode. Like things just make you feel better. Like they make you feel less depressed. They give you more energy. They just all this different stuff that's not just hunger and thirst.
Right.
So advanced cooking stuff is stuff that I'm holding out for.
And with the ability for it to have advanced like effects on your character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One for me would be, now I don't know if they can do this, or if they're like, I'm not too sure on this, but let's say you handcuff a player, I think it should lock their push to talk button. So if they're communicating to teammates, you can hear it. So that encourages players to stay quiet when they're handcuffed, if you get me. Now probably there's going to be external things that are going to do it up, and that's going to automatically mute you. Like you could just press a hotkey and it's going to mute your input into DayZ game. But I just think that should be good. Like I force people to double tap caps lock, and I say, if I see your med stop moving, you're gone. Bye bye. And it works. Like people do it, and they talk to their mates anyway. But it doesn't really work. But they do it anyway. But they're all like, yeah, my sniper, and like they start bullshitting as well. Like I've only done it twice properly, and they're like, yeah, sniper on the hill, he has me, just shoot him now. I'm giving you one chance, let me go, or else the sniper's gonna take you. It's like, tell your sniper to take me. I'll stay nice and still for him. So but that's what I want. That'd be cool, real cool. And capes. I want capes.
Capes.
Capes. When you see a guy coming up to you with a big ass mouth and he has a cape, but no, sorry. Now, I just thought of this here. A ghillie cape.
A ghillie cape?
I don't know if you've seen Modern Warfare 2. This is the only place I've seen it, where he has a tan rag and he's in the desert and he has it over him, if you get me.
Yeah. And
like he's sniping with it, so he just blends in with the foliage. Maybe a ghillie. No, a cape's probably a poor way of putting it. Like almost like a blanket that goes over your body, so you can, like, once you're prone, you can apply it. And then if you move too fast, it falls off and then goes back in your inventory. So you have to move very slow with it. And that's what I'd love instead of ghillie suits. So you're still you can still see yourself. Like it only covers from, like, let's say your knees up to your shoulders, but still be pretty cool. And like customizable hats that you can put grass into, and just something to break your outline more. Yeah. So I think. Customizable tack vests. Basically, you can find a plate carrier, and then you can put in plates. They'll make it slower, but you'll be able to take more to the chest, and it'll have molly spots. You know what I mean? Where you can put maybe more mag spots. You can put a canteen holder if you find it. So by default, if you have the normal one on, the six Stanag mag spots, you have 6 slots, and then if you find a canteen holder, it'll go onto your back. It's big. It makes your outline look bigger, but extra canteen space. And it's empty if there's nothing there, but if there is something there, you can put something in there, maybe even a dump pouch. It's empty if there's nothing in there, but you can put empty magazines in it. Just a customization if you want. And maybe like a knee pistol holder, like something cool like that. Just more customization, more stuff. And if it doesn't work, no one's gonna pick it up, but at least have it in the game. Like I die for a tie pistol holder. That'd be amazing. That'd be cool. And make suppressors work too. That's my wish list. Definitely.
All right. Yep. Those are all really great wish list things.
What about bugs? What are the biggest bugs in the game as of now? Game changers, funny ones. What do you think?
I can't stand desync. Desync makes the game unplayable for me.
I don't mind
when
desync.
when
Desync
click
happens
on
as long
something-
as it's not that as severe as it is.
No,
I can
like,
understand
I
a
can't.
bit happening.
I whenever I click on something, it needs to respond. Whenever I drag something into my bag, it needs to go there.
I get you.
Whenever I put something down, it needs to appear.
Yeah.
That's like, it makes the game absolutely unplayable for me. I can't stand it. I rage at desync. And then
I agree, man.
And then zombies walking through walls.
Yeah. Well, for me, there's this new one, and there's lots of stuff like the rubber bandits and all that stuff. But one thing for me is this. Have a quick look at that. Now, I'm going to post it in the Twitch stream for you guys to have a look at. All right, have a quick look at those. They're 2 Gyazo links. And, yeah, so this now, I'd like to mention that this occurred in the 0.43 hotfix. So this is what we got with our packets. We got more desync, more lag, rubber banding, and this shit. What is it?
Oh, man.
Like,
That's pretty funny.
so
You
confused.
you wonder exactly who put that bit of code in there. Like, what the hell is causing
Why
that?
is it like that? Like, what is, like, you know, if holding axe, snap wrist? You know, like, Jesus. You know, like, so that has me confused. Rubber banding as well. That needs to be fixed ASAP. And I don't know what it's called. I think it's not hit marking, but when you shoot someone, they're unable to shoot back or put any input into the game. Their only input is falling over. That's it. Not being shot and then having a chance to shoot you. Too many times I've been shot and the other player died as well because I shot him. There should always be just one winner. That's the way it is. Like I've like today I've had a conversation with a player that I double killed. And I said, man, you got that kill on me. Like I told him. I recorded it and I looked over and like we were talking the death screen for about a minute. And he got the kill. Like he clocked me in the head. I seen it, and like I was in third person. Quickly went. I had time to enter in first person and then shoot him once with my Mosin. By the time I fell to the ground, and it was a bullshit death on his part.
So yeah, I think that roundabout sums it up. I think as far as this week, I think I wanted to open up chat for questions. We had a chat question earlier from one of my moderators, Zafik. He said, "Do you think they would do anything with the bike or motorcycle so people could armor them up heavily?" And I'll give this to you guys.
Maybe leg guards. Armor them, like put pouches on the back, but that's not armor. Maybe like have a bit bigger. Like there's only so much you can do with a bicycle without turning it into like a fucking bubble on wheels.
Yeah.
You know, like you need to keep, like that's the downside of having a bicycle. It's fast, not as loud, very good on fuel, a bit dangerous if going uphill. Well, no, well that's how it was in the mod, but I think it should be less dangerous going up hills. Quad bike should be better too. You know, that's what you lose. You know, if you're on a bike, you're going fast, you're going not as loud, you're exposed. That's the way it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's only so much you can do with small vehicles like that.
As for bikes, they should have a 4-slot on them that you can put a shotgun in, like the leather jacket. Like the leather jacket has a 4-slot made for the sawed-off shotgun. Like that's what I'm assuming it was for.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That is awesome. I think it's the only piece of kit that you can have without having a tack vest and a backpack that'll hold the shotgun. So yeah, that's awesome.
Apparently the audio and the video are extremely desynced for some reason.
Fucking desync. Dina.
I'm experiencing desync everywhere. Let me see.
A second seat with a gunner on it. This guy just put on like a fucking tape a chair onto the back with like an two M240s and just be like pointing. You can point them in multiple directions. Like you use WASD for one direction and like the arrows for another direction. Just be shooting all over the place. Fucking shoot down helos and shit. You could like set one up on top of Cherno and just spray down. Oh, bipods. No, placeable tripods. That
Placeable
would be cool.
tripods.
Yeah. If you find a tripod, you could, and you found a weapon bracket, you could set up shop. Like you could make an M240. What else? There's the PKP, something like that. You know.
That's a cool idea, man.
That'd be a really cool idea.
And make bipods work a bit more for just things just in general. If you're prone with a bipod, your gun's not going to go anywhere. Like, you know, like there should be little to no recoil. And if you're on a windowsill, maybe find a way that it registers you're on a windowsill. Maybe even a Battlefield 4, like the way you go on. I understand that would make a bit of animation lag, and you might be not in control of your character for a few seconds while you're doing it, and that could get you killed. But you know, maybe register that if you're near a thing, it sort of pulls you towards it. Not like flick out the bipod and like lash it on the windowsill, but you know, you have it out, and then it only works on a windowsill, or if you're prone, or maybe run on a wall or something. You know, it just recognizes that it's on a solid. Right. And then you get the perks.
Grunt Zone 360 asked, could we have TVs in game working along with radios you see over the map?
Radios work. Like this is being broadcasted from Green Mountain at the moment. The Green Mountain radio station. By the way, if you're on UK 147, please don't come to Green Mountain, because like, you know, you'd wreck the stream if you come and just kill us. So like, don't do that, all right? But radios are in. So what else?
Well, yeah, I think
TVs are a cool idea.
I think what he means is like a not like a walkie-talkie radio, but a radio that you were to hear a broadcast from.
Picture in picture
over map.
You mean Arma 3 picture in picture? Like, is that what you're thinking of? Like,
well, like what I'm saying is like a TV where you could like watch something broadcasted from another user, or
set up a
radio,
camera.
or a radio where you could hear someone broadcasting in the game.
Dude, imagine setting up a camera
or something like that. Yeah, it'd be pretty cool.
And like you'd have to wire it, so like if you found like a 200 meter, like the 200 meter like wiring for a camera would be the best. So what you do is, you would wield the camera, and then you'd attach the wire to it on a roll, and wherever you walked, the wire would be on the floor, and it would go with it, and then you could set it up on a tripod, and then it would look down onto an area, and then it would stream to that television. Again, picture-in-picture quality, and if you went up to the TV, crouched beside her or something, right-clicked, it would turn into your screen, if you get me.
Right.
And that's the same for maybe in Huey's for the radar, picture-in-picture, and mirrors as well. I don't know if do you think they're going to have working mirrors?
I don't think, I don't know. That's
I hope so.
far, that's probably so far down the roadmap of important things for them.
I suppose. But I suppose when vehicles come in, like on the quarter thing they're going to do, it's fairly far away. I don't think picture-in-picture for the mirrors is going to be too hard.
Yeah. I think that there's probably no chance that they'll do any kind of video or anything like that, but I could see them doing radio. I could definitely see them doing some kind of a radio system where you broadcasted into the game, like from Green Mountain or something like that.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. And there's a few radio stations actually around the map.
Yep.
And they're these little. Have any of you guys played Arma 2 Domination?
Mm-mm.
No.
Oh, well, you know that they're like little. There's 3 of them on the Bernzino docks. They're these little square, like little towers that you can go on top of. They're very exposed. Do you know them?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, basically, they are radio towers, and they should put like a little computer thing in there. And if you right-click it, and then maybe it'll give you the option to have like, if you press like full stop, you know, you cycle through your channels, you'd be able to talk through the radio, and then you'd be able to broadcast. And maybe Green Mountain would be everywhere. And like anyone who had a radio in their inventory, maybe it takes up 4 slots, will hear the broadcast. So that would be really cool.
Right.
So we could just host dead air there. Pay 5 guys to watch the door, and we could actually host it in-game. Badass, that would.
I think that'd be pretty really cool. I think that'd be really cool. I would love to do that.
That'd be amazing.
We had a shit ton of questions that popped up way earlier in the broadcast, but I think we answered most of them. As far as I guess, any last thoughts, guys? Any last thoughts at all as far as the Q&As and the presentations that went down at Rezzed, whether it be some more .42 reactions, anything like that. Any last thoughts, guys?
Just trying to think.
My last thought would probably be that I'm pretty gutted that I never went to Rezzed. Just the kind of time frames and the whole money thing kind of didn't work out for me this time, but I'm going to definitely try and make any of the upcoming UK conventions.
Would you be going to Eurogamer?
Hopefully.
Where's that in London?
I think so. I definitely wouldn't mind travelling anywhere in the UK for convention. It's just whether or not it works out time frames.
Yep.
Just find someone else who's coming from Scotland and just like go half and half and driving with them.
Yeah.
Be awesome. Set
Probably
up a
wouldn't be too hard. Oh yeah, booths would be sweet, man.
Be awesome.
We did have a question come in while we were talking about last thoughts. Gruntzone 360 come out with another good question. He said, "Would you like to see the weight ratio thing they had in the mod be in standalone?"
Not really, but maybe just it like hampers your sprinting. Running stays the same, but as I said with the play carriers, and if you're carrying 2 weapons, you're not going to be like full on sprinting. Now, if you have a Ruger 1022 and you don't have a backpack and you don't have a plate carrier and you're just going for a lightweight approach, you might be able to go a bit faster than usual, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never liked
maybe not even weight distribution, just generally how much you weigh just in general. Like it won't tell you how much you weigh, or if you're really overweight, it'll just, hamper your running.
I never liked in Epoch that like if you were carrying a certain amount of weight, like you would just like randomly pass out and stuff. I really hated that. But the flip side is you shouldn't be able to carry 500 pounds worth of shit across the entire...
That's not going to happen in standalone, at least in the mod. Like if someone makes Epoch, well then that'll happen, but like it's not going to happen that you're going to be carrying like iron walls or anything. Like you're going to at most you're going to be carrying 2 weapons, a lot of ammo, maybe even a plate carrier in the very future, according to our wish list.
Well, we don't know. It's when they start doing the construction and stuff like that.
Oh, well, we don't have a clue, but hopefully. Oh, well, I suppose you're right.
Like, we don't know for sure, so we'll see.
Maybe you'll need vehicles to move stuff. Maybe you'll need a pickup truck. You could put loads of stuff into the pickup truck, and you'll be able to actually see the stuff as you add it in. So if you put rifles in the pickup truck, like it'll be leaning against like the back window of the pickup truck. And if you put like an ammo box, you'll see the crates and stuff. That'd be cool.
Jedi Jim says he'd like to see grenades. Thoughts on grenades in standalone?
Brilliant. Improvised traps like 1.8 in the mod. Improvised traps. We have smoke grenades. We have flares. Flares are going to be great because there's going to be barricading, so you'll be able to know, like an electro, if you set up a tripwire flare, that's very important. A tripwire grenade, tripwire claymore. I know that's not a grenade, but same thing. Smoke grenades, and I think they're pretty important. Yep. I think flares should attract Zeds as well, and Molotov cocktails too. Molotov cocktails, fire and zombie games, they just work so well together. Yeah. So like burning zombies, that should be a thing.
I've always liked the idea of improvised explosive devices. Being able to set up a trap with a tripwire or something like that would be so awesome to be able to pull off. So I hope that some kind of improvised explosive system comes into the crafting later on. Any thoughts on that, Jamie?
Just like Jack said, man, like the stuff they added in 1.8, like the tripwire explosives and stuff. Like I was a big fan of that sort of stuff. Yep. So and the fact that they have a solid crafting system in standalone just means it's going to be even better. So really looking forward to that.
Yep. Omaha Blue asked, how do you think they should best approach a group system identification like they have in Breaking Point, or some less obvious like armbands? We already discussed previously about some kind of a faction armband system. I think because that's what they already mentioned, I think that's the direction they're going to go. But what do you guys thought? Would you prefer if you two have played Breaking Point, the Arma 3 mod, whenever you add someone to your group, it gives them, you have a little icon where they are. that's actually represented on their player in game. So you always kind of know where your teammates are. Would you prefer it to be something a bit more immersive, like an armband, or would you prefer it to be a little
Armband.
bit? You like the armband idea?
I prefer
Like
armbands too.
they've completely strayed away from having waypoints in the game, so there's no actual like on screen like stuff like that. So I think if they're gonna add that in, they're gonna go off their model for the game they wanted to have. Like like I don't think they're gonna have those little green dots and stuff. So I think armbands are gonna be at best like just player identification if you see another player like that.
Yeah.
Pretty much. But I don't think they should have something like that. Because I like the way they're going, like no waypoints, you need to know where you're going. One thing they need to fix, I don't know why I didn't mention it, is the sun. The sun faces southwest. Always southwest.
All
no
right.
matter what time it is. And it's a very crucial way of finding north. And players that come into the game, they might not find a compass until later on. Now, we know exactly where north is, we just have to look in a tree. We'll remember a firefight we had there. New players to the game, they know that DayZ is a big survival game, so of course the sun's going to be in the right place, of course. Like, they even have, like, you can tell at nighttime where north is better than at daytime. Like, the stars are perfect north, the sun faces southwest, sometimes directly east. But I've noticed southwest all the time. I'd put money on southwest.
I think that may be something that they approach later on. I know that they are going to be implementing some different kinds of weather systems. So I'd be interested to see if maybe they add in like a seasonal kind of system where like on certain hives you go through summer, you go through spring, you go through.
He was talking about snow a lot.
Winter.
Remember?
Yeah, he did. And so we'll see how that goes as far as the weather system. I don't know if they're ever going to get that far into it as far as seasons, but that'd be interesting. I think that's about it as far as questions. Again, I'm going to open it up to you guys one more time. Any last thoughts from you two before we start doing shout-outs?
Not really. Jamie, do you have anything? I thought I've covered everything I wanted to.
Yeah, nothing from me, man.
Awesome. Well, real quick, we'll start with our guest that's on the show, CoimmanderPixel. Please give us a couple of shout-outs, where people can find you, where they can follow you, where they can catch your content, and where they can catch up on everything CoimmanderPixel.
Basically, I mainly work around YouTube, so I'm always going to be on YouTube. I do guides and stuff. So as the new updates come out, YouTube-wise, I'm going to be covering loads of guides for that. Best way you can contact me would be through the inbox. Every day I check my inbox, PM-wise on YouTube. If you want to get to me on Twitter, you can, but that usually gets bogged down by people liking my videos. So that really does sort of spam up my connect feature. So the best way you can get to me about something important is through the inbox. And that's pretty much it. Like, I'm on Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube. I'm getting into live streaming a lot, so pretty much just twitch.tv/CoimmanderPixel, and you can see me on that scene. So that's pretty much it.
Cool. And of course, you can also go follow him on Twitter, twitter.com/CommanderPixel or @CommanderPixel on Twitter. So
all my handles for anything I do make will be CommanderPixel.
Cool. Good to know. And Jamie, where can people find you? Where can they follow you? Shout-outs from you.
You can find me at DayZintel on Twitter, DayZintel.com. We're running out this. We're running these podcasts on deadair.DayZintel.com, so you'll be able to find the RSS feed, subscribe to that, get the audio version of these podcasts sent straight to your phone. Also got some merchandise coming up very soon, which you'll be able to find on store.DayZintel.com. I've got some sweet t-shirts. I'm wearing one of them right now. It's a gas mask from DayZ. That's pretty much it.
Awesome. So yeah, go follow these guys on Twitter. Again, that's @DayZintel and @CommanderPixel. And of course, you can find information for DayZintel at DayZintel.com and for CommanderPixel at YouTube.com/CommanderPixel. So go check these guys out. You can also hit the follow button here for me on Twitch. as well as CommanderPixel. CommanderPixel's on Twitch as well, twitch.tv/CommanderPixel. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate the interaction that you've had in chat. The VOD for this, in case you missed the beginning of it, the VOD for this will be up on YouTube within the next day or so. I'd like it to be up in the next couple of hours, but we'll see. You know how the internets can be. So you can follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/drumsetjunky, and of course I have a YouTube as well, youtube.com/drumsetjunky. Thank you so much for watching, and I think that is about it for Dead Air Episode 2. Thanks to Rocket for doing all the Q&As. Thank you, sir. If you ever watch this, thank you so much for doing all the Q&As and for trying to keep the development of your game transparent. And yeah, please let us know what you're doing more often. We like to hear from you.
Definitely.
Absolutely. And also thanks to Bohemian Interactive for making DayZ. Anything else, guys?
Nothing. I say everyone in the stream chips in and buys a calendar for Dean Hall. What do you think? I think it's a good idea, just so he doesn't lose track of the dates. Man. I think it was 2012. Standalone was meant to come out. What was it, February of 2012? So
he did make fun of himself a little
calendar.
bit. He did make fun of himself a little bit during the presentation.
But I know I say it all
About it being
jokingly though.
delayed.
I understand
Oh,
how
yeah,
big
yeah,
of a project it is, and it's good. Like yeah.
Yeah,
Pretty much.
absolutely. So yeah, thanks everybody for watching. Whatever it is for you, morning, noon, or night. We'll see you on the flip side, guys. And thanks for watching Dead Air Episode 2.
Thanks, everyone.
Say bye.
Thanks, guys. Bye. Bye.
Cheers.